American comics, The Concept of Gods, starting from God Rewards Those Who Work Hard, by author Soul Recalling Wind. Like and subscribe for more. Aaron traveled to the Marvel world and became an ordinary member of the Eza Protoss. In a magic practice, the awakening ability is rewarded by nature, and the ability can be infinitely improved by continuous exercise. Even the most common magic can eventually be promoted to a concept. You can get a lot of rewards if you practice meditation seriously. Upgrade to energy absorption. If you run energy absorption seriously once, you will gain a lot. Upgrade becomes a concept devouring. If you cast illusion magic seriously, you will gain a lot. Upgrade to materialization magic. You cast the materialization magic seriously once, and you get a lot of rewards, and the upgrade becomes a concept creation. So far, Aaron has become an almighty god who masters thousands of concepts step by step from an ordinary Asgard man! Chapter 1 Asgard Academy of Magic, the Nine Realms, Asgard. The legendary kingdom of the gods where the Eza Protoss live. A mysterious place where magic and technology coexist. For tens of thousands of years, under the leadership of the former god King Bor and the current god King Odin, Asgard conquered the dwarf tribe, successively fought against the Dark Elves, Warner Protoss, Frost Titan, and Flame Titan, and achieved brilliant victories. 1,000 years ago, it completely established the nominal dominance of the Nine Realms. So far, Odin has become the first co-lord of the Nine Realms, and for a time he is fierce and famous. After Asgard gained the dominance of the Nine Realms, God Eza did not continue to expand outward, and the Nine Realms entered a period of peace for quite a long time. Asgard's School of Magic. Although the Eza Protoss has a long history of using magic, and nowadays, magic is used in every corner of life, but in fact, the Eza Protoss is far less enthusiastic about magic than they are about hammers, axes and spears. And this phenomenon can be seen in the results of the recruitment of magic students this time. In the spacious classroom, dozens of students sit in a few places. Among them, there is only one male student. As the only male in the classroom, Aaron suddenly understood why Loki was so out of place, even a little feminine, compared to Thor and the three warriors of Asgard. A magic apprentice in a classroom is so yin and yang, so weak. Advertisement. Ad. Looking at the women in groups of threes and twos who were whispering, the corners of Aaron's mouth twitched slightly. He was not in a good mood. What did he hear? Those women actually wondered if they were afraid of warrior training and came here to learn magic. Warrior training is a military training that every Asgard must participate in, including strength improvement and combat skills training. Only by completing warrior training can one become an honorable Asgard soldier. If you don't pass the training, you can only become a weak ordinary person. In addition to participating in warrior training, choosing to practice magic is another way. At present, the atmosphere of the entire Asgard is advocating primitive hand-to-hand combat force. A real man should go to warrior training to become an excellent warrior and use the sharp blade in his hand to kill the enemy. As for magic, it has been completely reduced to an auxiliary method, and it is usually used more for enchanting. Often only those who do not have the qualifications to become qualified fighters will try to practice magic. It can be said that whether it is a woman or a man, if they have the opportunity to become a warrior, they will definitely not choose to become a magician. One is because it is difficult to learn magic, and the time required to master a magic skill can be used to complete more warrior training and enter the battlefield earlier. The second is because some magicians used to run wild with their own weird magic, causing quite serious bad effects. Therefore, to this day, magicians are far less popular than warriors. Definitely, this doesn't affect Aaron's decision to learn magic. As a time traveler, Aaron will not let go of any opportunity to improve his strength. Advertisement. Ad. Thinking of the environment he was in, Aaron felt a little heavy in his heart. He was lucky, after traveling to Marvel, instead of becoming an ordinary person, he became an Asgardian who was born with 3 times the body density of people on Earth. At least there is a certain amount of self-protection power. But this is luck and misfortune. Regardless of the incomparable brilliance of Asgard at the moment, looking at the entire galaxy, it is also one of the best superpowers. But it won't be long before Odin's death shatters Asgard's false pretensions. At that time, all Aaron needs to think about is how to survive Hela's first round of massacre, then how to escape the starburst sword of Surti, the king of Flame Titan, and then how to divide into the other half of the Asgard refugees released by Thanos, and finally went to the Earth to survive. You thought this was the end? No, it's far from over. Even if Aaron escapes these 3 rounds of screening by chance, then he has to consider how to gamble half of the chance of survival in the snap of Thanos' fingers. Then came the so-called God Slayer. Well, Aaron finds that being an Asgard doesn't seem like a good thing. There are too many dangers of death. Looking at it now, if you only pass warrior training, the upper limit is only the level of the 3 warriors of Asgard, that is, the character who was dropped by Hela in seconds. Even if you go to an alien planet, it will be difficult to protect yourself. If you have the opportunity to make great contributions and are loyal enough, you may be able to get the blessing of Odin, and your strength can reach the level of the former Valkyrie. Or, like Heimdall, get 1 or 2 forbidden magics, and barely be able to do a jump or 2 on the subsequent stage. Advertisement. Add well, just a moment or 2. If you want to live a nourishing life, you really want to definitely. One of the ways that Aaron can think of and realize to improve survival ability and strength is to learn magic. Asgard's magic is not weak. Tends to be technical. Whether it is used for fighting or escaping, the effect is leveraged. So this is the moment when Aaron came to the Magic Academy to sign up. Compared with being questioned by several women, Aaron hopes to learn the few magics he wants to learn, so that he has more room for planning. At this time, a woman in a gorgeous robe pushed the door in, came to the podium, glanced at everyone, with a serious and confident tone. "My name is Irene. Your future magic teacher is best at illusion magic. In my class, I hope you put away all your unnecessary thoughts and concentrate on listening to the class, otherwise I will let her experience the endless darkness and extreme cold of Hades." While talking, Irene snapped her fingers, and the classroom where everyone was in instantly turned into a dark and desolate gobi, with dense fog covering the field of vision, cold wind blowing, and the chill hitting the spine. "This is magic?" Aaron's eyes widened, and now he realized that the magic of Asgard's magic was not as weak as it appeared in the movies. Although the Asgard people did not show much magic in the movie, even Loki, known as the #1 magician in the 9 realms, was reduced to a role that was seconded by Doctor Strange. But in fact, these are plot needs, and it would be naive to underestimate Asgard's magic just because of this. Chapter 2 Magical Energy Increases. Meditation Proficiency +1, Hades fantasies did not last long. The immersive feeling of darkness also gave many students a disarm. Seeing everyone's terrified and dignified eyes, Irene nodded in satisfaction, and then withdrew the phantom magic. It works well. After that, the teaching should be a little more honest, so as not to always envy those fighters in the future. When entering the door, Irene already knew what the students were discussing through magic. The same problem has appeared in every magician professor in the past. As a magic teacher, Irene doesn't want her students to learn magic, but always envies those warriors. In her opinion, a magician is no worse than a warrior. "Didn't you see that today's queens were all famous witches before they married?" The second prince, Loki, is also an excellent magician. Now it is fighting side by side with the best fighters such as Thor. "Magician, you should be proud of your identity. Only in this way can we concentrate on learning magic in the future, so that we can be on our own in the future." The use of magic this time to give everyone a warning is also to let them know the power of magic. Advertisement. Aaron's move was a success. The Phantom of Hades really shocked everyone. Everyone temporarily extinguished the idea of becoming a warrior, and instead focused on learning magic. Among them, Irene noticed Aaron, whose eyes seemed to be shining. Irene was particularly satisfied with the eyes eager for knowledge. Yes, this is the real magician apprentice. Only with a desire for magical knowledge can one go further. Unknowingly, Irene paid more attention to Aaron. There is also the reason why Aaron is the only male. It is not easy for a strong Asgard man to come to learn magic without being afraid of other people's eyes. While thinking, Irene started the first class. Magic energy is a very special energy. It fills the whole of Asgard. But this does not mean that we can easily master it. In fact, it is quite difficult. Even the Asgardians who have the blessing of the God King can only master this energy after a long period of time. Get bigger a little bit. Magic energy reserves need time to accumulate. As time goes by, our strength will become stronger and stronger. This is far beyond those warriors who only know how to use brute force. Having said that, Aaron showed a smug smile. An excellent magician who skillfully uses magic can defeat more fighters. Advertisement. Even the best guards guarding the Golden Hall cannot defeat a qualified magician in the same number. Regarding this point, the other students felt a little skeptical about it, and Aaron never doubted it. The Asgard Protoss have a characteristic, that is, as they grow older, their divine power will continue to grow. In a way, they will get stronger and stronger before their bodies decline to a certain critical point. Definitely, this is limited to the Protoss royal family. Ordinary Asgardians don't have this kind of treatment. They only rely on their racial advantages, trying their best to discover the power brought by the body density several times that of the people on Earth. Even in the past thousands of years, after they have unearthed all their strength, the only thing they can improve is their fighting skills. But the magician is different. A magician needs to accumulate magical energy. The more energy reserves, the stronger the strength. The most obvious example is Loki. The young Loki and the old Loki in a certain universe have a worldwide gap in strength. The former knows a lot of magic, but only plays with daggers, and magic is more used to tease people. The latter means that after thousands of years of accumulation, one can use magic to create the entire Asgard energy entity with one hand. It is no exaggeration to say that this method is the #1 magician in the 9 realms. This is his own magical energy reserve. Advertisement. It's not the Kamar-Taj group of magicians who beg their grandfathers to tell their grandmothers and borrow magic everywhere. Definitely, although Loki is not the royal family of the Aesir, he also has the blood of the leader of the Frost Titan, which is much stronger than the average magician. Aaron never thought that he could reach that point. He just wanted to improve his strength as much as possible so that he could win more chances of survival in the future. Even if he ran to an alien planet in advance to avoid disasters in the future, he would not be beaten up indiscriminately. Now, I will teach you the first step in learning magic, perception magic energy. This is the most effective method of accumulating magical energy that all magicians have tested through practice for thousands of years. Irene began to explain to everyone the specific process of accumulating magical energy. This method of converting external energy absorption into its own magical energy reserve does not have an accurate name, and Aaron calls it meditation. Aaron was very serious about trying to perceive energy in the way Aaron taught. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded in his mind. You have performed the Asgard meditation technique earnestly, and you have gained a little bit. Your magical energy reserves have increased, and your meditation technique proficiency +1. Before Aaron could react, suddenly, a magical energy circulated in his body. It seems that he can control this energy at will with just a slight movement of his heart. Is this magical energy? Chapter 3 Unlimited Improvement. Meditation Upgrade. At this moment, Aaron's attention was quickly diverted from the magical energy in his body. His eyes were fixed on the light curtain that only he could see in front of him. #Name Aaron. #Life 1000 5000. #Ability God rewards those who work hard. Skills, Asgard meditation LV1, 1/10, fighting technique LV3, 633 1,000ths, spear LV3, 723 1,000ths, sword LV3, 300 1,000ths. Attributes, intelligence 3, strength 4, speed AA3, endurance 4, energy strength 2, fighting skill 4, set 1/7, for excessive strength in the early stage. Strength evaluation, surface level, second-rate superhero. Introduction. Diligent people should get the rewards they deserve. Your skill level and strength depend on your diligence. As long as you work hard enough, your ability will increase infinitely. Damn it. Can ability be infinitely improved? Does this mean that my potential is unlimited? Aaron was stunned. Looking at the column of meditation techniques, he pondered for a while. Subconsciously run meditation again. You have performed the Asgard meditation technique earnestly, and you have gained a little bit. Your magical energy reserves have increased, and your meditation technique proficiency +1. I saw the column of meditation, transformed into LV1, 2/10. The proficiency of meditation has increased, and the magical energy in the body has also increased. Although the magical energy is still very little, and the column of energy intensity is still 2, Aaron sees a broad road. Now the level of meditation is still low, and the efficiency of absorbing magic energy is also low. If the level can be improved, will the efficiency also increase? As long as he accumulates enough time and works hard enough, his magical energy reserve will not be weaker than Loki in the future. Advertisement. No, it can't be described as Loki anymore. Instead, the Odin is used as the basic unit. His energy is very likely to exceed Odin, and even the Celestial group. Moreover, this is just meditation. If you learn other magic, even if it's just an ordinary magic, such as illusion magic, if the level is high enough, can it also be possible to transform illusions into entities, and go directly to Asgard like the old Loki? It even means creating a physical planet or even a universe, or upgrade a popular portal to dimensional teleportation, or cross-Marvel universe teleportation. Don't be too scary. No matter in that world, there are also differences in the strength of magic. Weak magic can't even harm ordinary people. But strong magic, such as Kamar-Taj's Old Lord of Hogarth and Bosset's Thunder, are powerful spells of the mighty old god. There is also the Exile of Monsoon, which claims to be able to concentrate the magic of the entire universe, or time magic that reverses time. These are extremely terrifying magic. The power is quite impressive. If you can learn these magics, and then improve them through heaven's rewards, is it possible for magic to go a step further and turn it into a concept? Strictly speaking, as long as enough time is accumulated, even an ordinary magic can rise to the level of killing gods. This is going to take off the rhythm. Aaron was overwhelmed by the thought. Advertisement. And he just wanted to survive in this dangerous world, but he never thought that he might become the strongest through hard work. Endless improvement, endless possibilities. At this moment, a certain concept of Aaron's invisible was shattered, replaced by an ambition. He wants to become stronger and become invincible. One's own destiny must be controlled by oneself. Instead of hoping to escape death by luck as before, thinking, Aaron fell into meditation. Constantly run meditation. You performed a meditation technique seriously, and gained a little. You have performed a meditation technique seriously, and you have gained a little. Your magical energy reserves have increased. Your meditation technique proficiency +1. Your meditation technique has been upgraded. 8. Not long after, meditation was promoted to LV2. At this moment, 100 proficiency is required to advance again, and each proficiency increase becomes +2. In other words, you need to perform meditation 50 times before you can continue to improve. Aaron glanced at the data column. Except for the level of meditation, the other values have not changed. Then enter the meditative state again. 8. You performed a meditation technique seriously. 8. When Aaron was meditating, the other apprentices did not neglect, and they were all trying to feel the existence of magic. Although the people here are all Asgardians, and all have the ability to practice magic, but it is not easy to get started in magic. They keep running meditation, but they can't find a way. Advertisement. And one by one, their expressions became impatient. Did you feel the magical energy? No, I only feel darkness. How about you? Me too. Magical energy doesn't exist at all. If I had known earlier, I should have participated in warrior training. Maybe I would have the opportunity to fight the 9 realms with Prince Thor. Is it because our meditation method is wrong? Why is there no movement at all? After a period of trying with no results, everyone temporarily gave up on perception magic energy, discussing and exchanging ideas in low voices with their heads down. As more and more people gave up, almost everyone dropped out of the meditative state and joined the conversation. At this time, Aaron, who was still meditating with his eyes closed, stood out from the crowd. Someone has found Aaron fully absorbed in meditation. Hey, look at him, he seems to have succeeded. Who? Aaron? Impossible, none of us have any perception of magical energy. How could he succeed? Maybe, look at how serious he is. Maybe he thinks he still has a chance and is not ready to give up. Before long, he will give up like us. Seeing that all the apprentices failed except Aaron, who had been on the sidelines, was about to speak out to comfort everyone. For beginners, perception magic has never been an easy task, otherwise the magician of Asgard would not be so withered. But seeing everyone turning their attention to Aaron, Irene froze when she wanted to speak. The brows are also slightly clustered. She stared beautifully. Is this magic wave? Aaron perception to magic energy. Chapter 4. The magician genius who is about to change Asgard. Eileen never thought that someone would be able to get started so quickly. The practice of magic requires a long time to accumulate, especially for beginners. If they want to form combat power in magic, they need to study hard for many years. After all, not everyone is a genius. And because of the particularity of Asgard, every magician will even spend more time practicing fighting skills while learning magic. The glory of a soldier is always so attractive. I still remember that when I first learned magic, it took me several hours to successfully perceive the magical energy. How long did it take Aaron? Remember, only 10 minutes? Unexpectedly, I saw the legendary magic genius, and also a genius who volunteered to study magic from warriors. Eileen beamed. Advertisement. And if there is a big magician who specializes in magic in Asgard, there may be a chance to change the social status of the magician, attract more people to join in the study of magic. Involuntarily, Irene paid more attention to Aaron. Shut up. Aaron has officially become a magician. Don't bother him to wander the mysterious magic ocean now. Irene yelled at all the apprentices to keep quiet and asked them to continue meditating, providing Aaron with a quiet meditation environment. This is the treat of a magical genius. Hearing this, the others were shocked. Although they didn't dare to speak, their twinkling eyes had revealed their thoughts. Next, Everyone stopped discussing and waited quietly for Aaron to wake up. Soon, an hour passed. Aaron finally opened his eyes. At this moment, meditation has become LV4, 1010,000ths. The proficiency of each meditation is +4, and it will take several hours to continue to upgrade. The current environment is obviously not suitable for continuing to meditate. In addition, the column of energy intensity has finally been raised from 2 to 3. The effect is quite obvious. Advertisement. And after all, it only took him an hour from being exposed to magic to increasing his energy intensity. There is still a long time ahead, and the improvement in strength will only get faster and faster. Right now, Aaron wants more than anything to learn new magic. Only in this way can the combat power be improved as soon as possible, and how strong it is compared to the skills of level 4. After all, before his memory awakened and he learned magic, judging from his previous memory, he had practiced fighting technique, spear technique, and sword technique for hundreds of years. Judging from the template evaluation, he was only level 3. Although they are much harder than ordinary Asgardian fighters, they are at best elite fighters, not even better than the 3 Asgardian warriors. Now, after just meditating for more than an hour, it is worth hundreds of years of learning. I have to say, Goldfinger is so powerful. If awakening memory and Goldfinger earlier, the time of 1,000 years does not know how far it has reached. Even though it was a lot late, there was still time, and there was still time, and Aaron was confident that he would arm himself to a very high level for the remaining time. Opening his eyes, he saw an expectant and curious face, and those eyes were full of hope. The face suddenly approaching made Aaron subconsciously raise his hand to make a defensive move of fighting technique. Before learning magic, he joined warrior training long ago, working hard to become a qualified elite warrior. Learned Asgard fighting technique, exercise skills, as well as spear and sword skills. It wasn't until later that he traveled back and found that the time spent on continuing to exercise was not proportional to the rewards, and the benefits were not high, so he made the decision to participate in magic studies at the same time. He didn't want to be just like the 3 warriors of Asgard, he wanted to be stronger. Advertisement. But after seeing the owner of the face clearly, Aaron stopped his actions, and said helplessly, "Teacher, don't get close so suddenly next time, okay? You will accidentally hurt me." "Understood, I will pay attention next time." Irene smiled awkwardly, straightened her body, her eyes sparkled with curiosity. "How does it feel? Is the power of magic so fascinating?" "It's great. I mean it's great." Aaron gave an affirmative answer amidst the envious looks of the others. "By the way, teacher, can you teach me new magic? I can't wait to learn more about magic." Irene frowned, looked at the others, and hesitated. Magic teaching needs to be done step by step. Generally speaking, even if beginners perceive magic energy, it will take a certain amount of time to accumulate before proceeding to the next step of teaching. But when he thinks about the ability Aaron has shown so far, he has already made a decision in his heart. Yes, but magic learning cannot be completed overnight. Although you already have magical energy, you have only meditated for a short time, and it may not be enough to cast magic once. Don't be discouraged later. With your ability, you are destined to become a not inferior to a powerful magician like the second Prince Loki. Before teaching magic, Irene also prepared Aaron in advance. Anyway, Aaron has just come into contact with magic. Even if his ability is extremely high, he will not be able to cast magic immediately. Maybe after failure, the magical energy that was only meditated will be exhausted. Irene didn't want to dampen the enthusiasm of the other party, so she said it in advance. Aaron nodded, understanding. Seeing this, Irene began to talk about the next magic. Chapter 5 Illusion Magic Upgrade, Magic Evildoer. Asking for flowers and tickets. There are many magics in Asgard. According to the use of magic, the types of magic are also different. The illusion magic I am best at is the auxiliary magic among them. Don't look at illusion magic as auxiliary magic. Once mastered, it can also exert extremely amazing effects when used on the battlefield. The simplest example is illusion duplication, creating one or more illusory bodies to confuse the enemy's vision. Just like me, at some point, 2 Irene appeared in front of Aaron's eyes. Judging from the appearance, it is completely indistinguishable from the real one. Even the scent is exactly the same. Fantasy magic is a very special kind of magic. The duplication of illusions created is not just for confusing the public. If you practice it deeply, you can even create physical illusions. At the moment can no longer be called an illusion. It is a lethal energy entity that already has the effect of causing damage to the enemy. In addition, it can easily deceive people's senses, just like the illusion of Hades before. In the eyes of the viewer, what they feel is no different from the real Hades. The two hyenas explained at the same time, and the file size and rhythm of the tone were exactly the same. While explaining, Irene was also teaching how to use illusion magic. After Aaron read it, he started to practice. You have performed phantom magic seriously once, and you have gained a little bit. Phantom magic proficiency +1. In the column of skills, there is also a new ability, Phantom LV1, 1/10. Seeing this, Aaron's spirit was shaken, and he began to try to practice illusion magic. In order to save magic power, first conjure up N, then cancel the magic, and continue to change repeatedly. Irene saw that Aaron had learned illusion magic in an instant, and her eyes were already wide open. Odin on it. What do I see? Advertisement. Add magic genius? No, this is evildoer. I still remember that Loki, who had a very strong magic ability, did not show such an exaggerated magic learning ability. Diva Frigga couldn't do it either. Odin, who is aloof, can't do it either. In the entire history of magic, there is only one magician who has performed so amazingly. Thinking about it now, Aaron probably perceived the existence of magic energy at the first time just now, and the rest of the time was spent getting familiar with the process of magic perception. She thought it was too simple before. Aaron felt ashamed of what she had just thought. She underestimated Aaron's magical ability. This ability is bound to become as good. Oh no, it should be the strongest magician in the 9 realms. Even outside the 9 realms, I'm afraid I can't find a second place, right? Irene suddenly felt a little difficult to breathe, and stared blankly at Aaron, who was devoting himself to studying, with his extremely serious and immature appearance. In her eyes, she seemed to see the brightest star in the future. No, this kind of magical genius cannot be taught by me. He needs a better teacher. Only in this way can he maximize his ability. If this genius is buried because of me, he deserves death. After Irene thought for a while, when she came back to her senses again, she saw the unbelievable gazes of the apprentices around her. What happened? Irene realized what happened to Aaron, and after regaining consciousness, she quickly looked over. How can this be? Has his illusion magic been able to create illusion duplication? Aaron almost screamed out. Now, advertisement. Add in her sight, what Aaron made was no longer a pen, but another Aaron. This means that the opponent's phantom magic has gone from entry to proficiency, and has a fairly high level of spellcasting. Definitely, this is not the main thing. Irene can see that although Aaron has created an illusion duplication, this duplication is just a duplication and does not have the ability to attack. The only effect is to confuse the public. If the opponent is a magician, or someone who is familiar with magicians, it is easy to see whether the illusion is true or false. The main thing is that Aaron started creating another duplication soon after creating a phantom duplication. The duplication this time is no longer the inferior illusory duplication just now, but a real duplication entity. Already have a certain level of combat ability. This level of magic increases the speed. Irene felt that she had completely lived in the body of a dog during the thousands of years of magic learning. She, who usually calls herself a master of illusion, has completely lost her self-confidence. Obviously, with Aaron's current improvement speed, it won't be long before he can surpass her in illusion magic, etc. Something is wrong. Isn't Aaron new to magic? How could he possibly possess so much magical energy to create phantom entity duplication? Could it be that the efficiency of his perception of absorbing magic has also reached an unprecedented height? Aaron is going crazy. The state of mind can no longer be kept calm. Almost lost my mind. There was even a hint of jealousy. Advertisement. Ad. Fortunately, Irene has lived for such a long time and has a good heart, otherwise she would have faced her own mistakes because of jealousy, and completely lost her confidence in learning magic. At the moment, Aaron stopped studying magic. Look at the template. 8 tilde name apostrophe, Aaron. 8 tilde life 1000 5000. 8 tilde ability apostrophe, God rewards those who work hard. Skills, as good meditation LV4, 1000 10,000ths, fighting technique LV3, 633 1000ths, spear LV3, 723 1000ths, sword LV3, 300 1000ths, illusion magic LV3, 99 1000ths. Attributes, intelligence 3, strength 4, speed AA3, endurance 4, energy strength 3, fighting skill 4, strength evaluation, surface level, second-rate superhero. The magic energy is about to bottom out. It seems that besides the study time, another fatal factor that restricts me is the problem of energy reserves. With my current magic reserve, even if I am given enough time, it is difficult to raise a single magic to a very high level in a short period of time. Next, I need to plan the time allocation for meditation and magic training. Definitely, fighting technique, gun skills and other studies must not be left behind. If you want to do it, you have to be a magician with no shortcomings in both magic and martial arts, not a crispy skin. In the past, limited by his own ability, fighting techniques, etc. were difficult to improve. Eren would spend more time learning magic. But now, since he has the opportunity to develop in an all-round way, he naturally cannot let it go. After the brief summary, Eren raised his head and said firmly, "Teacher, I want to learn new magic." "Eren, study? If you keep on studying, I'm afraid that I will be hollowed out by you in a short time, and you are going to be a teacher today." Irene had thought that Eren would be better than Blue, but she never thought that it would be possible to accomplish this idea today. Chapter 6, Enchanted Magic Book. "It's about to be hollowed out, teacher," Eren shouted again. He really wanted to learn more magic. It would be best for Irene to teach all the magic she knows in one go. In this way, when you go back, you can fully improve your magic level. Definitely, he knew that this could only be an idea. Even if he showed such a high ability, it would be difficult for Irene to make such a decision. "Eren, don't you still have warrior training? Why don't you go back and finish training first?" Irene was embarrassed to refuse, but she was also afraid that she would be hollowed out today. After thinking about it, a magic book exuding a strong energy atmosphere suddenly appeared in her hand. As an excellent Asgard magician, enchanting is a must-have knowledge. This book records almost all the enchantments in Asgard. Take it first and study it when you have time. If you don't understand anything, just ask me. When you master the knowledge of this book, I will teach you other magic. Speaking of this, Irene was afraid that Eren might misunderstand, and explained patiently, "Don't underestimate enchantment magic. This is the foundation of Asgard. Every aspect of life is related to enchantment." Advertisement. "And whether it is a soldier's weapon, armor, or the spaceship he drives, or the defensive cannon, it is inseparable from enchantment. Do you know the MJ-A-Pilkrolna of the Great Prince Thor? It is an extremely powerful Mephisto weapon. After the excellent forging technology of the dwarf clan, the dead fixed star was used as the furnace, and the airy metal was used as the material. A powerful artifact made with the unique enchantment magic of the king of God Odin possesses the power to control thunder. It is indestructible and invincible. This is the charm of enchantment. Asgard's technology requires enchantment to develop." Eren nodded. Naturally he would not underestimate the power of enchantment. The two M16s named Druishan and the Midi still remain in my mind. After being enchanted by Asgard, the two mediocre earth weapons immediately turned into harvesting machines, pierced through Hela's black sword, and harvested the resurrected undead warriors. And as far as he knew, almost everything in Asgard was related to enchantment. It can be said that Asgard has mastered the perfect enchantment system to have its current status. Taking the magic book, Eren didn't let go of the idea of continuing to squeeze it, and said again, "Teacher, how did you take out the magic book just now? Is it a new spell?" Irene smiled. Seeing that she couldn't hide, she had to say, "This is a very practical magic. Space storage, can use magic to create a special space, and can usually store some small items. The biggest advantage is convenience. Free your hands. Since you want to learn, I'll teach you. Anyway, it's just an ordinary auxiliary magic, but this magic is still difficult to learn." With that said, Irene began to talk about the specific principles of space storage magic. Advertisement. And in her opinion, it is just a small auxiliary magic. If you teach it, you will teach it. If you can maintain your dignity as a teacher with a mediocre auxiliary magic and enchantment magic, it's totally worth it. She didn't expect that the news that she would be hollowed out on the first day of teaching would spread. "I believe that such a thick book of enchanting magic can delay a lot of time, right?" Eren thought uncertainly. After a while, Eren learned the third magic, space storage. In front of Irene, I took the magic book in and took it out, and used it several times. Seeing Eren having fun, the corners of Irene's mouth twitched slightly. In front of such a magical monster, the real Alexander. Although space storage magic is only auxiliary magic, it also involves space power, so it is not easy to learn. However, it seemed that it didn't cause the other party a little confusion at all. This is the end of today's teaching. Everyone, go back and understand what you have taught today. I hope that everyone can use magic to contribute to Asgard in the future. Okay, let's all go back. After Irene finished speaking, she walked out quickly without stopping for a moment. Advertisement. Ad her direction is Golden Hall. About Eren, she needs to report to the most excellent witch, Frigg. And Frigg is also the honorary principal of the Academy of Magic. After Eren left, Many apprentices are about to gather around and ask Aaron for advice. However, after realizing their purpose, Aaron left first. Compared with these rouge vulgar fans, isn't magic fragrant? Isn't exercise good? A strong sense of urgency prompted Aaron to convert Goldfinger into strength as much as possible, and strength is the most important thing at present. Relying on their great strength and the status of a genius established just now, the others dare not stop them at all, and can only watch Aaron leave. Everyone's eyes were full of envy. To be honest, it would be a lie to say that you don't want to be a magician. The reason why they always talk about becoming a warrior is not because it takes too much time to become a magician. Think about it, it only takes decades to become a warrior, but it takes hundreds or thousands of years to become a magician, so you don't need to think about how to choose. If they can also have the magical ability like Aaron, it will only be proud to be a magician. Chapter 7 Thor and the Three Warriors, Seeking Flower Evaluation. After leaving the Magic Academy, Aaron put aside other arrangements and prepared to go straight back to the residence to practice magic. The joy of winning Goldfinger for the first time made him not want to waste any time. Time is power. Others don't want to work hard because they may not get rewarded for their hard work. But for Aaron, every little bit of hard work can pay off, and the harder he works, the stronger he gets. In this case, it would be crazy to change anyone. However, as soon as Aaron stepped out of the school gate, he was stopped by someone. "Hey, Aaron, Loki was right, you came here to learn magic." A heroic voice stopped Aaron. The owner of the voice is Thor with blonde hair. Since Aaron's consciousness of time traveler awakened, he has consciously started planning for the future. Learning magic is one thing, and finding ways to deal with Thor and the others is another. At least in Asgard, if you can get along with the Thor group, it will be much easier to do things. Don't look at Thor's carelessness, even blind confidence in his own strength. In the eyes of people on Earth, he is an egomaniac. But in Asgard, such a Thor is the object of worship and pursuit by everyone. Because Thor is their future king, the strongest besides Odin, his arrogance is an expression of self-confidence. Now that you're in the Marvel world and you're part of Asgard, there's absolutely nothing wrong with dealing with Thor. Aaron did just that. With the help of a certain drinking party, he successfully broke into Thor's small group. The relationship between a few people is pretty good. Advertisement. Aaron first greeted Thor and the few people behind him, and he was very accommodating and friendly. "Why are you here?" "Don't tell me, you are here specially to wait for me?" Behind Thor, there are Loki, the three warriors of Asgard and the famous female warrior Sif. At this moment, everyone except Loki looked at Aaron with kind smiles. They have a good impression of this nice-talking and hard-working young man. "That is definitely, you are our friend, we must wait for you to go together." Thor laughed and patted Aaron on the shoulder, and in the next moment, his true colors were revealed. "Let's go, let's have a drink together. Let me tell you why you came here to learn magic. Loki is a magic genius. What do you want to learn? If he doesn't, it's fine." Hearing this, Loki also smiled at the right time, but Aaron was reluctant no matter how he looked at it. It's not that he never thought of asking Loki for advice. Although Loki's reputation as the #1 magician in the 9 realms is quite watery, one thing to say is that Loki's magic skills are very comprehensive. If Loki can really teach magic, Aaron will not go far and come to the academy to study. It's just that Loki is the god of intrigue and trickery, so if you ask him to learn magic, are you really afraid of being tricked? Even if you want to deal with Loki, you must have a certain strength. It's dangerous to be with someone with a high IQ like Loki before he has the power to protect himself. In addition, I don't know if it is because Loki's real blood is Frost Titan, Aaron subconsciously rejects Loki. These are things can't be said clearly. Aaron doesn't want to offend people yet. At least he needs to maintain his previous state before he is fledgling. There's no need to bother Loki. I just want to learn magic all of a sudden, and I can't delay Loki's time because of my temporary hobby. It's not right to say that. We are friends, and we should help each other. How could it be a waste of time? You're right, Loki. Thor grins at Loki. Loki smiled and nodded in agreement. Advertisement. But in his heart, he was quite unhappy with Thor's behavior of preparing to spend his energy and time to gain Aaron's favor. If he hadn't known that the IQ of his silly big brother who only knew good wine and muscles was always below the level, he would have wondered if he had changed. The big-hearted Thor couldn't see the reluctance shown by Loki, and mistakenly thought that the other party approved his statement, and laughed again. "See what I said, right? Or you can learn from Loki in the future." Although Loki is not good in martial arts, his magic tricks are still pretty good. For magic, Thor uses tricks to describe it. In his eyes, a heroic fighter should defeat his opponent with dignity. Those magics that always conjure illusions and deceive the enemy's senses are not elegant. Definitely. Another aspect is that Loki often uses magic to trick others, including his big brother. None escape Loki's magic. My big brother, do you think my magic is just a trick? Maybe I can turn you into a frog and let you try what you say is just a trick. Loki doesn't agree with that. He usually claims to be the #1 magician in the 9 realms. How could he describe it as a trick? Loki, that's why your magic is a trick. Other people's magic is used against enemies, but you like to play tricks on your friends. Sif frowned. For Thor's point of view, whether it is Sif or the 3 warriors of Asgard, they all nodded in agreement. They are the elite of the elite, and they are usually very dissatisfied with Loki's behavior of always using magic to tease people. He even has a grudge against magic. However, as friends, they would not object to Eren learning magic. At least in terms of character, Eren is much more reliable than Loki. Most importantly, Eren became their friend by virtue of his ability. After all, if you don't have some means, just know how to drink, it is difficult to integrate into Thor's small group, and it is difficult to get the approval of the 3 warriors and Sif. Advertisement. Add the strong will only make friends with the strong. Even though the 3 warriors of Asgard and Sif are too far behind Thor, they are much stronger than ordinary Asgardians. Just like Sif, the strongest female warrior of Asgard's new generation, Orfandrel, one of the 3 warriors, is a famous swordsman who is good at edged weapons. Even Thor often praises his swordsmanship. Even the fattest Vorstag should not be underestimated. He had the strongest body when he was young. After he became obese due to eating and drinking, his defensive ability ranked first among the 3 warriors. Well, you're right. Loki is used to being isolated by everyone, so he didn't refute it, and turned to Eren and said, Eren, magic is a very profound knowledge. Without certain ability, I advise you not to try it lightly. It will only be a waste your time. After all, not everyone can become an excellent magician. Loki couldn't refute that the 3 warriors were better than Thor, so he had to secretly point the finger at Eren. At this time, other magician apprentices also flocked out. When I saw Eren and Thor, I was suddenly stunned. No wonder Eren's magical ability is so high. It turns out that he and Prince Thor are friends. With his ability, I'm afraid he will soon become a powerful magician and fight with Prince Thor. Don't be envious. He is a magical genius that even teacher Irene is jealous of. We can't compare. A group of girls looked at Eren enviously while talking. This scene fell on the ears of several people, and they all looked at Loki with meaningful eyes. Loki's face was very ugly, and he said awkwardly, the first day doesn't prove anything. It's just a group of apprentices. How do they know the difficulty of magic? However, Loki's sophistry was not approved by several people, but ignored by several people. They are well aware of Loki's nature. They were more interested in what the apprentices had to say than in arguing with Loki. Chapter 8, Queen of Heaven. There is an evildoer coming out of the Academy of Magic, seeking flower evaluation, especially Fandral, who is a self-proclaimed playboy, is a little out of tune when he sees young women, and now he exaggerates. I'm not mistaken, this year's magician apprentices are all girls. To be honest, Eren, did you come because of them? You are not enough friends. Why don't you ask me to come with you? In fact, I also like magic. They are amazing. So charming. Fandral's exaggerated words only got a lot of blank stares. Eren, who has long been accustomed to Fandale's character, spread his arms and said helplessly, if you really want to come, I can talk to the magic teacher. Maybe you can pass the test. Forget it. With the romantic aura that I exude, I can attract women's love everywhere. Fandral danced with a sword flamboyantly, and straightened his hair after taking the sword away, as if it would make him look more handsome. Eren, I didn't realize you were a magical genius. Sif looked at Eren with bright eyes. As a woman, she has a keen sixth sense. At the beginning of this meeting, I felt that Eren was a little different from usual, a little more confident than before, full of vigor and vitality. Eren has no pride, concealing the magical ability displayed in the classroom, but just smiled self-effacingly. Compared to Loki, I am still much worse. Several people did not object to Eren's self-effacement remarks. Because Loki's magic ability is really high, Thor grew up with Loki's magical juggling, and is well aware of his brother's magical prowess. If Loki can use the kung fu of teasing others to specialize in magic, I believe he can even surpass God King Odin. However, Loki's ambition is not magic. Advertisement. Okay, everyone, stop sticking around here, drink, and compare who can drink the best today. The communication didn't last long, and they rushed to the reception amidst Thor's greeting. However, They didn't expect that Aaron used illusion magic while they were not paying attention. The duplication of energy entities produced by LV3 illusion magic can already achieve the effect of confusing real ones. Possesses part of the combat power of the main body. If you just drink, you can achieve exactly the same effect as the main body. Everyone was unaware of Aaron's vision, including Loki. There is no perception to the clue. It is true that Loki knows a lot of magic, but at this time, his attainments in illusion magic have been surpassed by Aaron. If he can distinguish carefully, he can distinguish it, but he subconsciously doesn't think that Aaron can have such an amazing ability to cast spells on the first day. He is quite confident in his magic level and ability. If you can't do it yourself, others can't do it either. After Aaron used the energy entity duplication instead of himself and Thor and others to leave, he returned to the residence alone. A broken bar. Danhu, a genius, came out of the Academy of Magic. No, a monster came out. After announcing the end of Get Out of Class, Irene rushed to Golden Hall without stopping. And Frigga is sitting in the study at the moment, looking at the magic book leisurely and elegantly. Before Irene arrived, the voice of uncontrollable excitement came from outside the door. This made Frigga full of curiosity. Irene, it's not the end of school time, is it? What's the matter with the monster you're talking about? In fact, Irene is also quite capable in magic. Advertisement. It has never appeared in the whole of Asgard that Irene can be called a monster. It's Aaron, an apprentice who's just started learning magic. After entering the study, Irene suppressed her excitement, saluted Frigg, and then talked about what she saw and heard today. According to the normal teaching, I gave the apprentices the method of perceiving magic energy today. When other apprentices were still trying, Aaron perceived magic in an instant, and it took only 1 hour, which was equivalent to the magic of ordinary people for many days' accumulation. Not only that, but I also made an exception to teach him illusion magic. He only listened to it once, and he also successfully mastered the trick of illusion magic. And in a very short period of time, the illusion magic has been raised to an extremely high level. I saw him create an energy entity duplication with my own eyes. It is estimated that his attainments in illusion magic are not much worse than mine. And he also learned the space storage magic in one breath, and he can freely collect objects. I've never seen anyone with such a powerful magical ability. Aaron is definitely a monstrous existence in terms of magic. Is it really that exaggerated? Frigga was shocked by Irene's remarks. A magic beginner who can master and barely use a magic in a week is already a proper genius. As Irene said, the entire history of Asgard's development has never appeared before. If this is the case, it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a monster. Aaron. The name is so familiar. Frigga had some impressions of this name. I remember Thor mentioned to me that he made a new friend a while ago, and it seems his name is Aaron. Could it be that the Aaron Thor knew was the same Aaron? Looks like Thor has made a pretty good friend. Frigga's happy for Thor. Advertisement. And with Aaron's magical ability, I believe he will be able to guide Thor to protect Asgard in the future. However, Frigga still doesn't believe that Aaron has such an exaggerated magical ability. It sounds amazing. Irene continued. At the moment, Queen, Aaron has such an exaggerated ability. I don't know how to teach him. I'm afraid that I will soon learn all the magic from him. So I suggest that you teach him magic yourself. Before Frigga became the Queen of Heaven, she was not only a powerful female warrior of the Warner Protoss, but also a famous witch. After marrying Odin, Frigga only taught one person, and that was Loki. Loki knows magic, so does Frigg. Frigga would, but Loki might not. Strictly speaking, Frigga's magical strength may be stronger than that of Loki at the moment. It's just because of the long-term pampering that Frigga has no chance to make a move, and his combat effectiveness is gradually declining. But as a magic teacher, Frigga is absolutely excellent. After thinking for a while, Frigga said, if Aaron is really as good as you said, then it is no longer suitable for him to stay in your class, and it will affect the learning of other apprentices. So I made an exception to let him enter a higher magic class, and I allowed him to ask any teacher in the Academy for Magic. Erin was overjoyed when she heard this. Irene has no dissatisfaction with Frigg's decision. Frigga is the queen and needs to assist Odin in managing Asgard. It is indeed a bit inappropriate to just teach a magician. Although Frigga was not invited to teach personally, she was promised. She felt powerless to teach Aaron alone. If you can gather all the magic teachers to teach together, it will be no worse than Frigga teaching in person. Understood, Queen of Heaven. Chapter 9 Improvement Plan. Opened the book. Asking for flowers and evaluation. Back at the residence, Aaron began to think about his next plan. Aaron conjured up a pen and a piece of paper, and was preparing for further planning, when he suddenly discovered something. The proficiency has increased this time, Only 2 points? Aaron was a little lost looking at the proficiency beating. In the next second, the illusion magic was directly cancelled, and paper and pen were conjured up again. This time, it still increased by 2 points instead of 3 points. Strange. Could it be? Thinking of a possibility, Aaron conjured up an energy entity this time. Sure enough, the increase in proficiency is not just about casting a spell casually, but requires me to cast a certain spell with all my strength. Aaron suddenly realized the paper and pen are just an illusory and ordinary illusion. The difficulty and level of magic cast is probably only at the level of LV2. So only 2 points of proficiency are added. The spellcasting level and magic energy required for energy entity duplication are at the level of the standardized LV3, so the proficiency is increased to 3. It's troublesome. If I want to increase my magic level faster, then I have to go all out every time I cast magic, which requires a lot of magic energy reserves. So the problem that needs to be solved urgently in the next step is the problem of magic energy. With enough magical energy, you can become stronger at the fastest speed. As for the solution, Aaron held the phantom pen, and literally wrote down Plan 1 lightly. Meditation. Advertisement. Add level 4 meditation technique. The speed at which perception absorbs magic is quite astonishing. 1 hour can be worth the accumulation of many days of hard work by an ordinary magician. At this speed, Aaron believes that even Irene, the Queen Frigga, or Loki with the blood of frost is definitely not as fast as him. According to Asgard magic research, meditation is not even magic. More is to rely on the blood to obtain the absorption bonus. Loki has more ability than ordinary people because of the bonus of Frost Titan royal blood. However, although this kind of magic accumulation is fast, Aaron is still not satisfied. Time is running out. He doesn't have so much time to follow the steps and take his time. Simply meditation only takes a few more hours to upgrade, and the magic absorption will be faster by then. Aaron pondered for a moment, shook his head slightly dissatisfied, and then wrote down Plan 2 on the paper. Energy source. If I can get an artifact with infinite energy like infinite gems, then this problem will be solved. But this plan needs to overcome 2 problems. First, if nothing else, there are currently no infinite gems in Asgard. Secondly, even if you get gems, you can't use them casually and energy absorbing. The risk factor is quite high. If you don't pay attention, you may be backlashed by gems. Asgard has had infinite gems, and more than one. But for some purpose, Odin may have realized that he could not collect all 6 gems, or he may have committed a crime, and finally sent the collected gems out. So, it's very likely that there are no gems in Asgard right now. Aaron is also worried that he does not have the ability to absorb the energy of gems. Although infinite gems are dead objects, they must not be measured by ordinary objects. Advertisement. Add before, a red skull was transferred by space magic, and later, a female alien was blasted by energy. For now, except for Captain Marvel who was lucky enough to get part of the energy of the space gem, almost everyone else uses part of the energy of the gem indirectly. Even if a certain spicy chicken shred can transform the reality gem into the state of type particles with technology and incorporate it into the body, it does not actually absorb the energy of the gem. Reality gem and it's powerful. If the opponent can really use and absorb its energy, how can it be overthrown by Thor who has not yet awakened? Look at Captain Marvel, even awakening Thor probably can't beat that. So, for now, plans to get infinite gems are on hold. Since this is the case, then an alternate plan must be adopted. Aaron writes Casket of Ancient Winters and the Eternal Fire on paper. The former has the powerful energy to freeze a planet. The latter will never be extinguished and has the special power of resurrecting the undead. After combining with Surti, it can restore the peak and scrap the entire Asgard with a single sword. There is no doubt that both of them have huge energy measured by planets. If you can obtain and use it, you don't have to worry about energy issues in the early stage. The most important thing is that these 2 artifacts are in Asgard, and it is possible to obtain them. Remember that these 2 artifacts are in Odin's treasury. They are usually under Odin's magical surveillance, and they are also guarded by the destroyer armor. If you want to get it first, you must either raise your magic to a level far beyond Odin's, or you will make great military exploits and give it in the form of rewards. Perhaps, the former is easier to achieve. Aaron's eyes flickered. He has always been wary of Odin. From the current point of view, Odin thinks that the benevolent king is true, but don't forget that before he unified the 9 realms, he was also a warlike king no less than Thanos. Countless skills. Advertisement. Add and it's quite scheming. Strength is also unfathomable. Aaron didn't think that he could be rewarded with 2 artifacts for his great military exploits, and there was no precedent before that. Because both the casket of ancient winters and the eternal fire are at stake. The former is the sacred object of the Frost Titan, and the Frost clan has never given up the idea of getting it back. Once the casket of ancient winters falls into the opponent's hands, it may trigger another war between the two clans, and the latter is even more related to Ragnar Pilkroke. When Surti got the eternal fire, with Odin's current state, it can be said that he is powerless, and Asgard will die. As long as Odin is not too old to be insane, it is impossible to allow the two artifacts to leave the vault. Therefore, compared to the other party's initiative last time, Aaron is more inclined to get by himself. Definitely, there is another way, that is to wait quietly for the Dark Elves to invade, fish in troubled waters, or wait for Loki to take power and Hela to move in. It can be said that it will be easy to get 2 more artifacts by then. But Aaron can't wait. So, the top priority is to improve the level of magic as soon as possible. As long as you can far surpass Odin, you can take away the artifact without anyone noticing. Maybe there is another way to enhance the magic reserve. Aaron had another plan in mind. This plan can only be implemented after the magic class tomorrow. As for the current time, that is to open the book. Aaron put aside all his thoughts temporarily, and began to exercise various abilities according to the plan he had thought up. The first is fighting technique, gun skills, and sword skills. These 3 abilities must first be upgraded to LV4. Then there is meditation to restore magic power and upgrade to LV5. Then there is the exercise of illusion magic and space storage. Raise various abilities to the highest level in the shortest possible time. Chapter 10 Aaron is fake. Loki who doubts life, ask for flowers and comments. And on the other side, at a reception not far from the Golden Hall. When Aaron fell into the unwinding mode, Thor and his party didn't know it, and they were drinking together. Playboy Fandral even gathered several blonde beauties. As for Vostag, with a wine glass in one hand and a chicken leg in the other, he concentrated on food. Vostag, it's time for you to lose weight. You were the most fit fighter in Asgard back then, but now, you have a big belly. But it made many women cry. Faced with Fandral's teasing, the latter replied indifferently, I am still the strongest. Besides, Thor, do you want to try my strength? Just brute force is the practice of barbarians. As a qualified gentleman, you should have a gorgeous swordsmanship duel. Do you think I'm right, ladies? Fandral raised his glass and flashed what he described as his kindest smile to the ladies. Unsurprisingly, Fandral's female companions, who obviously turned to him, echoed. Seeing this, Sif pouted and looked to the other side. I saw Aaron drinking wine quietly. Aaron, why don't you like talking today? I'm still thinking about the magic taught by the teacher today. You know, the magic is quite profound. Aaron replied without thinking. Sif nodded slightly, not surprised. During their time together, they all knew that Aaron was a fighter who loved to learn. Whether it is swordsmanship or spearmanship, there is a strong spirit of specialization. Advertisement. This is what they appreciate most. Because they also have this kind of spirit, they can stand out among so many fighters, not only become one of the best fighters, but also become Thor's friends, able to fight side by side with Thor. This honor is not so easy to get. It is hard for others to know the hard work and hardships put in, and Aaron's research spirit is stronger than theirs. For some reason, the other party seems to be very urgent and eager to improve his strength. Now, he has become a leader among fighters, not much worse than them. However, Sif always vaguely felt something weird. Probably because of her sixth sense as a woman, she always feels that Aaron is a little different today. Not only different from usual, but also different from when we first met. Sif couldn't describe this feeling. As she was thinking about it, Loki stared at Aaron suddenly, a gleam of disbelief in his eyes. That is the look that doubts life. Rubbing his eyes silently, and looking over again, Loki fell silent. Loki, what are you thinking again? Seeing Loki watching Aaron remain silent for a long time, Thor subconsciously thought that the younger brother might be thinking of a new trick. As a big brother, he has the right, responsibility, and obligation to supervise the other party. The corners of Loki's mouth twitched slightly, and he remained silent for a while before he opened his mouth and said, My dear big brother, I sincerely suggest you, before questioning me, look at Aaron first. Is he really Aaron? If I'm not mistaken, the Aaron we've been drinking with for hours is nothing more than a physical illusion created using illusion magic. We played with a bunch of energy for hours. What? Advertisement. Hearing what Loki said, several people were all dumbfounded. Thor frowned. Loki, you should know that Aaron is only learning magic on the first day. How could he have learned illusion magic so quickly, and can create magic that deceives my perception, even you? When Loki said it, Thor was the first to distinguish the truth from the fake. Loki is so naughty, he used all kinds of magic to play with him since he was a child. Shape-shifting, illusion, invisibility and other magic methods emerge in endlessly. If Loki is an excellent grand magician, then Thor is a master of discernment, able to see through many illusions with ease. But at the moment, Thor sees no flaws at all. Aaron is Aaron, except for the lack of words. There is no difference in breath or senses. Sif and the others also nodded in agreement. Yeah, he not only lied to you, but also lied to me. Loki's face is ugly. Under the bright light, there seemed to be a shadow. Thor's words, like a sharp sword, pierced deeply into his heart. I think he is still a well-known magician in Asgard. Usually he always uses magic to play tricks on others, but I don't want to be taught a lesson by a rookie who is just learning magic today. From the school of magic to the present, after a few hours, he discovered a clue under Sif's frequent attention. Loki can be sure that this Aaron is not that Aaron. It looks real, but it is actually an energy entity duplication. It can be seen from this that the opponent has already left himself behind in terms of illusion magic attainments. Outrageous, pretty outrageous. Advertisement. Don't say that Thor doesn't believe it, even he can't believe it. But this is true. Aaron fooled stupid Thor and fooled himself. As expected of a magical genius, you discovered it so quickly. Aaron, who was watched by everyone, shrugged helplessly and said, well, as you can see, I am a duplication of Entity Phantom. Do not mind. If you want to come to me, then go to my house. He is probably practicing magic right now. Here, I also want to say sorry to you. I have no intention of deceiving you. After speaking, Aaron turned into pure energy and dissipated in the sight of everyone. There was another silence. For a moment, everyone didn't know what to say. They were not angry. Aaron, unlike Loki, apologized as soon as he was discovered, and they could understand the joy of having just learned magic. As friends, they are also sincerely happy for Aaron's magical ability. You know, the other party has only learned it for less than a day. You can use illusion magic to deceive everyone present. Can Loki do it? Coincidentally, the pressure is all on Loki. Loki's mood got worse. Magic genius? He always felt like he was being mocked by Aaron! Chapter 11 Meditation Upgrade, Energy Absorption, Seeking Flowers for Evaluation. When the duplication dissipated, Aaron, who was entering a state of meditation, opened his eyes for the first time, and a hint of disappointment flashed in his eyes. Has it been discovered so quickly? The level of illusion magic is still a lot worse. If a real entity can be produced, others will not be able to tell the truth from the fake. Even if they doubt it, it is just doubt. Well, then hurry up and upgrade the illusion magic, just as the meditation technique is about to be upgraded. Aaron continued into meditation. I don't know how long it took, and finally ushered in a crucial moment. You have performed a meditation technique seriously, and you have gained a lot. Your magical energy reserves have increased. Your meditation technique proficiency +4. Your meditation technique has been upgraded, and the upgrade is energy absorption. 8. Meditation becomes energy absorption. When the prompt appeared, Aaron immediately looked over to check the changes. Soon, he looked overjoyed. Meditation is a technique developed by Asgard magicians to perceive and absorb magical energy in the air. Not only is the absorption efficiency low, but it also has great limitations. It can only be accumulated over a long period of time to accumulate magic reserves little by little. And energy absorption is an upgraded version of meditation, which can actively absorb unowned energy. Not only is the efficiency of absorbing magic much higher than traditional meditation and LV4 meditation, but it can also actively absorb other energy and convert it into its own reserves, no longer limited to Asgard's unique magical energy. On the basis of meditation, efficiency and versatility are increased, and the speed of magic energy accumulation will be greatly improved. In addition, the upgrade of meditation also solved another problem for Aaron, that is how to absorb external energy sources. As long as you can get the casket of ancient winters and the eternal fire, you can use energy absorption to continuously transform them into your own strength. Advertisement. At that time, it is the real beginning of strength improvement. The most important thing is that meditation has undergone a qualitative leap at LV5, so how exaggerated will it become if it continues to strengthen? Aaron was envious of Scarlet Witch's energy absorption. The later Scarlet Witch, using origin magic power, can even absorb all the energy absorption of Captain Marvel in a parallel universe in a few breaths. That level of energy absorption is not comparable to my own energy absorption at the moment. One can absorb owned energy, and the other can only absorb unowned energy. The gap is completely different. However, Aaron is confident he can do the same, if not better. He has only been learning meditation for less than a day, and he can reach this point. What will happen next? How strong will it become? Unlimited improvement, infinite possibilities. Aaron collected his mind and glanced at the template at the moment. 8 tilde name apostrophe, Aaron. 8 tilde life 1000 5000. 8 tilde ability apostrophe, God rewards those who work hard. Skills, energy absorption, as good meditation, LV5, 0 100,000, fighting technique LV4, 2 10,000ths, swordsmanship LV4, 2 10,000ths, illusion magic LV3, 99 1000ths, space storage LV2, 10 100ths, attributes, intelligence 3, strength 4, speed A3, endurance 4, energy strength 3, fighting skill 5, strength evaluation, surface level, second-rate superhero. Although the skills have basically improved a wave, the strength evaluation has not changed much. Except for the strengthening of fighting skills, all other attributes including energy strength have not changed. For this phenomenon, Aaron is not sad. Before gaining the God's reward ability, his energy strength and fighting skill were only 1 and 2 respectively. Advertisement. Although it is still at the surface level and second-rate superhero, the gap between before and after is quite obvious. It can be said unceremoniously that Aaron at this moment can completely abuse himself before learning magic. This is the improvement of comprehensive attributes, coupled with magic coordination. There is no suspense at all, unless it is required by intelligence reduction or plot. Moreover, even though they are all at the surface level, the gap between the upper and lower levels of the surface level is too large. Explosive buildings are the surface, explosive streets are the surface, and explosive cities are also the surface. But can it be said that it is of the same grade? If all the women's federations are brought in, they are all of the same level, no more than the difference between first-rate, second-rate or third-rate. Aaron is ready for a long-term surface-level evaluation. He also believes that this is only temporary. If you want to upgrade energy absorption, you need to meditate for more than a day without eating or drinking. And the magical energy pervading Asgard has begun to be unable to satisfy such efficient magic absorption. Meditation efficiency can be greatly affected. It is imminent to find a new energy source. During the meditation process, Aaron has discovered that the magical energy permeating the air in Asgard can barely supply the absorption speed of LV4. If you continue to improve, just absorbing external energy is already unsustainable. If you want to improve without being affected, you have to find a way and find a more effective way. It's better to improve the illusion magic and space storage first. As for finding a solution, I have to go to the Magic Academy tomorrow. After reading, Aaron started to study again. Advertisement. Ad. The next day, Aaron, who rolled into the early morning, got up early in the morning and rushed to the Magic Academy. At this time, the other students hadn't arrived yet. Because of the long lifespan of the Protoss, the work and rest of the Protoss is quite different from that of Earthlings. If on Earth, students come to the classroom early and start reading early, and in Asgard, it's a good time to sleep. In fact, very little time is actually spent on studying in a day. What they need to do, besides the necessary exercise, is to enjoy life more. This is the Protoss almost entered the era of utopia. In addition, Odin sits in charge, maintaining the relative peace of the 9 realms, and deterring other civilizations in the galaxy, so that Asgard does not need to worry about external invasion for a long time. If he didn't know the development of the subsequent plot, Aaron might have started to enjoy this harmonious and comfortable life of the Protoss. However, these can only be thought about. He is now racing against death. Seeing no one, Aaron still did not stop rolling. Opening the thick enchanting magic book, my mind sank into it instantly. Time flies. A strange voice wakes Aaron from the magical world. Aaron, teacher Aaron asked you to find her. Chapter 12 New God of Magic. Asking for flowers and evaluation. Teacher, what do you want from me? Led by an unknown female magician, Aaron found Irene in the room. Aaron was in a good mood when she saw Aaron coming. Just as he was about to speak, he subconsciously perceived Aaron's magical fluctuations, and his expression froze. You've become stronger again. The harvest is not bad, but compared with you, teacher, it's far worse. Aaron said modestly. Aaron was silent. Too much difference? It's only been less than a day, and I'm not far behind in illusion magic. If you directly surpass me, then I'll lose my face. Definitely. Eileen also knows that it will be a matter of time before the other party surpasses her. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe the day after tomorrow, the opponent will be able to overtake in some respects. Before long, he will be completely trampled under his feet. She took a deep breath and asked tentatively, "How is your study of the magic book I gave you yesterday?" Aaron frowned and said, "The magic book contains too much enchanting knowledge, and I'm still in the exploration stage." That's good." Hearing this answer, Irene secretly heaved a sigh of relief, and praised her brainstorm yesterday. After seeing Aaron's magical ability, in order to save her face, Irene had to resort to a trick. "Don't you have high magic ability? Then I don't teach directly. Let you read the entire magic book slowly, and it will take a lot of time just to read it completely. Coupled with the study time, it can always be delayed for a while." Maybe, although it was a trick, Irene didn't want to harm Aaron. As a magician, in fact, it is up to you to learn more about magic. What others teach is, after all, a small part. More knowledge is located in the magic book in the library. If you want to be an excellent big magician, you must not bypass the library. There, more time is spent. And on the other hand, if you learn enchantment magic, it will have a very high benefit to the original spellcasting level. Advertisement. Not only can it create a powerful artifact, but it can also help improve spellcasting proficiency. It is also impossible for Irene to hold a thick magic book and pass on knowledge page by page. Neither she nor Aaron had that much time. Don't be discouraged. Enchanting magic is extensive and profound. If you want to fully master it, it will take years. Even I dare not say that I have mastered all enchanting magic so far. Asgard's real master of enchantment is our king, Odin, God King. His accomplishments in enchanting are admirable. But even for him, it took countless years to have such a high level of enchantment. You still have a long time. Maybe one day you can become the strongest magician. Irene patiently enlightened Aaron, lest the other party would have self-doubt because of this setback. But she obviously thought too much. Aaron's main focus was not on enchanting magic. Otherwise, how could it be possible to start research slowly at the end? By the way, after you went back last night, you didn't continue to practice other magic, did you? Aaron suddenly thought of something at this moment and asked softly. Aaron nodded in the affirmative. At the same time, he snapped his fingers. The office where the two were located suddenly turned into the familiar Gobi. The vision is hazy and the wind is cold. There are even vague figures floating in the distance. It doesn't look real. Hades. Irene was taken aback, and under excitement, her body suddenly stood upright. This vision, this scene. Isn't it the phantom of Hades that she gave all the apprentices the first day? Simply speaking, the authenticity of this illusion is no worse than the one she created, and faintly more realistic. If she hadn't watched Aaron perform it in person, even she would have difficulty distinguishing reality from reality. After a careful perception, Irene showed a look of lovelessness. It's over. In less than a day, I was surpassed by the students. Odin on it. Advertisement. Are you kidding me? The illusion of Hades didn't last long, and the entire illusion disappeared into thin air. And Aaron's face was a little pale. This is a sequel of the severe consumption of mana. Before coming, in order to improve the illusion and space storage, the magic power has been almost consumed. Now it is the limit to maintain the phantom of Hades for a short time. Teacher, after I practiced for a long time last night, I had a question. Where does the magical energy that spreads throughout Asgard come from? Yes, where does Asgard's magical energy come from? This is Aaron's biggest question. It is also a key to solve the problem of improving energy reserves. Since I am a beginner in magic, everything about Asgard magic is still in the guessing stage. Aaron had thought that this magical energy was a special kind of cosmic energy. But if this is the case, why did the magicians of KUMO-AUDIOBOOK not try to absorb this magical energy, but insisted on signing a contract with the ancient gods to obtain magic power, knowing that there would be a huge price? Is it simply that it is slower to absorb by oneself, and it is easier to become stronger by borrowing magic? If not, does Asgard's magical energy come from the planet originally? Remembering the sword that Surti destroyed Asgard, it seemed to trigger the energy of the star core and the famous star destroyer Bifrost. Its energy source is also Asgard originally. Definitely, there are other possibilities. That is the world tree. Aaron had a wild guess. That is, the world tree is not a special star structure, but the real energy source of Asgard. If this is the case, then try to find a larger source of energy, because the communication bridge between world tree and Asgard is definitely not just Asgard originally. Otherwise, why when Asgard was destroyed, Hela's divine power was weakened but not completely disappeared, while Thor still had full divine power? Just a pure protagonist aura or faith? Aaron remains skeptical until he finds out the real answer. If such a medium exists, It may be able to solve the most pressing problems of our time. Aaron obviously didn't expect Aaron to ask this question. Advertisement. The day's look already showed everything. Seeing this, Aaron sighed silently. Sure enough, Aaron is just a magician after all, and it is obviously still wanting to count on her to obtain deep secrets. Maybe, only Odin knows? No, maybe there is another person, that is Frigg. As a queen and a powerful magician, Frigga has access to a wider range of knowledge. After being absent-minded for a short while, Irene looked at Aaron suspiciously, and then she spoke about her knowledge of the source of magic. Isn't magic energy just a special kind of cosmic energy? And we, under the guidance of the God King, can use this energy for technology and ourselves, which greatly strengthens the overall strength. Understood, teacher. Aaron nodded to show understanding. As for the true thoughts in his heart, he did not tell Irene. Maybe she's right. It's just the source of energy for the Protoss royal family. How to explain it? Why only creatures from the 9 realms can use this power? Everything is a problem. On the other hand, Aaron's perception of the world is still based on the analysis of what he has seen so far. He can't even guarantee that this world is just the MCU universe. Therefore, this issue remains to be further discovered. The two did not struggle with this issue for long. Aaron finally got down to business. Aaron, in view of your excellent magical ability, yesterday I applied for special permission for you from the Queen of Heaven, Frigga, and you no longer need to study with other apprentices in the future. You have the right to ask any teacher in the Magic Academy for magic knowledge. You can also enter the library at any time to consult materials. Actually, I prefer to let the Empress teach you personally, but the Empress still needs to continue to observe your abilities, so try harder. As long as you can show more magical abilities, you will receive guidance from the Queen of Heaven, and even have the opportunity to attract the attention of the God King and receive the blessing of the King of God. I believe that with your ability, you are likely to become the greatest magician in the future. There is still a word in Irene's heart that has not been said, that is, Aaron has the hope of becoming the new god of magic. The other party's ability to learn magic is beyond her cognition. I believe that even Odin is by no means as good as the other party. Aaron is destined to shine in magic. Chapter 13. Amora, the master of psychic magic, seeking flowers for evaluation. Looking at Irene's expectant eyes, Aaron nodded emphatically. I see, teacher, although the time the two really knew each other was at most 2 days. But Aaron can be sure that Irene is really thinking about herself. After seeing his magical ability, he reported to Frigg the same day, seeking more resources for himself, and even wanted to convince Frigg to teach him himself. I have to say that Irene is very anxious, eager to train Aaron to be an excellent magician, and even worried that she is not qualified for the duties of a teacher. If it were another person, there would be a monstrous student under his staff, and if his jealousy was a little bit stronger, there might be a result of suppression. Even if this is not the case, it is possible to hold the other party and yourself tightly. Think about it, if Aaron becomes a powerful and excellent magician in the future, then that person will logically become Aaron's only mentor in name, prominent status, shared honor. At this time, Irene, who received a satisfactory answer, continued, you can temporarily put aside the learning of enchanting magic. The most urgent thing is to strengthen the learning of other magic. After you have mastered the main magic, it is not too late to specialize in enchanting magic. In fact, only magicians who feel that magic is difficult to continue to improve will specialize in enchanting magic. I don't want you to invest too much time in it. Definitely, I also know that with your ability, you spend more time not on practicing magic, but on reading, but no matter what, it will always waste a lot of time. Now that you have the opportunity to learn from other teachers, you should seize the opportunity. If you can get the Queen's approval, you will get better magic teaching. Advertisement. And in this regard, Aaron just nodded and did not speak bluntly. Although in his plan, enchanting magic came last. But it doesn't mean that enchantment magic is not taken seriously. Aaron also thought about how powerful the enchanted artifact would become if the enchantment magic was raised to a very high level. Mass build Mjolnir. Build storm battle axes in batches. Seems ... not impossible. Moreover, it is also a good idea to have a piece of equipment with strong defense before it reaches a certain level. At this moment, he is not strong in physical attack resistance, probably barely able to block the less powerful bullets. After all, his physique is just that of an ordinary Asgardian. It is considered that he has just grown up, and his body has not yet grown to its peak. While Thor is of royal blood, at the peak of his prime, Loki is also a Frost Titan royal blood. Aaron is impossible to compare with the two. Therefore, it is very important to have a set of armored stomach with strong defense at this time. At that time, Add your own enchantment. Maybe you can still resist the weapon damage of ordinary Asgard soldiers. You know, even the equipment of these soldiers is made of alumetal. Advertisement. Add that is an artifact capable of breaking defenses against Thor, Loki, Hyla, and even Odin. If it can withstand this level of equipment, even Thor and others, it is impossible not to covet it. Then, the two talked for a while. In order to continue scrolling, Aaron left the room. Not long after he left, a seductive woman in a long green dress walked into the room. Amora, what are you doing here? Seeing the person coming, Irene's face suddenly sank. Irene, don't forget one thing, I'm also a teacher at the Academy of Magic. Amora was not angry at Irene's unwelcoming expression and tone, but said with interest, that person just now is the magic genius that the Queen told us to pay special attention to? I remember it was called Aaron, a magic apprentice who just learned magic for less than 2 days. I heard that on the first day of school, you can create duplication of energy entities. Does he really have such a powerful magical ability? Amora made no secret of her curiosity about Aaron. Amora, I warn you, you'd better not get his attention. He is my student. He is also the object of the Empress's attention. If you dare to make some small moves, don't blame me for being rude. Aaron has a particularly violent temper, and she is no longer as kind and friendly as she was when she got along with Aaron. Irene, why do you still have such a big prejudice against me? I didn't do anything to you, Amora said with a light smile, completely ignoring the warning in Irene's tone. And didn't the Queen say that? He can ask any magician for advice. Strictly speaking, he doesn't belong to you alone, but our common student. Advertisement. Having said that, Amora licked the corner of her mouth alluringly. HMPH, don't think I don't know. That incident definitely has something to do with you. Irene looked at the other party with disgust, and said in a cold tone, don't think that you will be safe and sound if you escaped the sanction last time. I will keep an eye on you, and I will never let you do something that insults the reputation of magician again. Amora, known as the Enchanting Witch, is best at enchanting magic, and is an absolute leader in magic related to the soul. She is also a teacher of psychic magic at the Academy of Magic. She also has a younger sister, Lorelei, known as the Charm, who is also a master of spiritual magic. Lorelei once tried to stage a coup, but was imprisoned in the dungeon after a failed attempt. Amora avoided the coup, and later became a teacher of the Academy by virtue of her excellent spiritual magic. That incident had a bad effect on the reputation of magicians. Irene hated this kind of magician very much. If it weren't for them, why would magician's position in Asgard be so embarrassing now? She has always suspected that Amora was also involved in that incident. In addition, the instigator was Amora's younger sister, and she even had a high degree of disgust towards her. After seeing that the other party obviously had a strong interest in Aaron, he couldn't hide his anger. Then you have wronged me. I am different from Lorelei. The great king of God thinks I am innocent. Amora blinked, looking very innocent. Irene clenched her fists and didn't refute again. After all, she was refuting. Didn't it mean that Odin's investigation was unclear? He. Amora chuckled and left the room before Aaron erupted, having received an exact answer. Chapter 14 Invoke the teacher to ask the crime. Swordsmanship showdown. Asking for flowers and comments. After Amora left, Irene managed to suppress her anger. Thinking that the famous enchantress might use Aaron as a contact target, the whole person fell into irritability. Aaron is just a novice in magic. No matter how high his magic ability is, he can equal or surpass himself in illusion magic in just 1 day. But after all, there is too little time to study, and the age is too young. Facing Amora, the master of spiritual charm, there is almost no possibility of resistance. Definitely, this is not a force. No matter how courageous Amora is, she would not dare to attack a magic genius in Asgard at will. What she was worried about was that Amora would use her charm to seduce Aaron, take advantage of the latter's magical ability to do something irreversible. Aaron is too young to have access to psychic power, and happens to be a young guy, in front of the mature and charming Amora. No, can't let it go. Not to mention a young man, with Amora's charm magic attainments, among the men in Asgard, there may not be more than one person who can really resist it. Thinking of this, Irene couldn't sit still, and hurried to look for Aaron. At the moment, Aaron did not meet Amora, but was blocked by several people in the academy. Sif pretended to be angry and asked, Aaron, I think you should explain to us how you tricked us with illusions last night. We actually drank and chatted with a group of energy for hours. Thor also nodded in agreement. Yes, you don't treat us as friends. Loki, on the other hand, looked at Aaron with scrutiny. He still can't believe that such a beginner can surpass himself in illusion magic on the first day of learning magic. Advertisement. He didn't mind playing Thor, but he was cheated along with him. Doesn't that mean he's as stupid as Thor? Can this be tolerated? When had he been so humiliated? Although Sif and the others acted as if they were asking questions, Aaron knew that these were all fakes. However, an apology is still necessary. After all, he is considered a friend, and it is true that he deceived a few people first. That's good. I'll treat you to a drink when I have time. I'm really embarrassed about what happened yesterday. Thor couldn't help smiling when he heard that he was going to buy a drink. But Sif gave him a hard look, and immediately swallowed Thor's words that were about to hit his throat. But he still winked at Aaron, signaling that he should not forget the treat, and at the same time said that there was nothing he could do at the moment. Sif gave Fandral another look. Fandral nodded, and said, Aaron, I heard that you have been practicing magic since you went back. You must have missed the basic training of soldiers. We have no objection to you learning magic, but as an excellent as good warrior, you must not forget the daily training. Why don't you let me check your sword skills, and see the effect of your recent training? After Thor heard this, he was obviously taken aback, and then whispered, it seems that this is not what we discussed. Fandral's swordsmanship is the best among us. Aaron. Sif didn't speak. Fandral gave Thor a helpless smile. This was something they thought up on the spur of the moment, and they didn't tell Thor. They're worried that Thor will forget about the plan for a few drinks. Facts have proved that Thor betrayed several people just a moment ago. If it weren't for Sif's quick action, several people were on their way to the reception at this time. Advertisement. This temporary plan is not actually to punish Aaron. They just wanted to take this opportunity to tell Aaron that as a fighter, you can't forget to train. After all, Aaron's magical ability is too strong. He can fool several people around in a day. Even Loki was fooled. If Aaron concentrates on learning magic in the future and no longer focuses on warrior training, then they will lose a warrior partner who fought side by side. After all, the three warriors and Sif still subconsciously believe that warriors are the right way, much stronger than magicians. Hearing this, Aaron frowned and showed a meaningful smile. In fact, after the swordsmanship upgrade, he wanted to find time to practice with Fandral to see how strong the LV4 swordsmanship was. It is also good to compare the magic level of the same level horizontally. At this moment, Fandral was the first to propose it, which was exactly what he wanted. Okay, then let's try. Aaron reached out and summoned a long sword out of thin air. With his knowledge of space storage magic, he can easily store long and short weapons. Usually, weapons and commonly used things are stored in the space, and they can be taken out to fight against the enemy at any time. The loss of magic is also very weak. It has to be said that the space storage magic is quite useful. Seeing this scene, Loki's pupils shrank. Another new magic. How much magic did Aaron learn in one day? Despite not communicating with Aaron magically, Loki already has a sense of urgency. If he doesn't do something else, the title of the most capable magician of this generation will change hands. Even his attainments in magic will be surpassed by Aaron in all aspects. This was the first time Loki wondered why he hadn't taken the time to learn magic before. Advertisement. So much so that now I feel panic about Aaron's rise, and I was severely ridiculed. And not far away, Amora, who came out from Irene and was about to discuss magic with Aaron, also saw this scene. Originally, after seeing Aaron, his eyes sparkled. But seeing Thor and the others again, the forward pace stopped immediately. Thor, Loki, Sif. Headache guy. Amora is a master of mind magic, but she's not sure she can charm Thor. Although Thor did not learn magic, he wields the power of thunder and is extremely resistant to magic. And there is also the magician Loki. Although in Amora's eyes, although Loki knows a lot of magic, they are relatively superficial and not a cause for concern. However, no matter how you say it, you still learn from Frigg. She was not sure that she could charm the other party. Apart from these two, the most troublesome thing is that Sif, who is relatively weakest, is the most difficult to deal with. Because she is a woman, and she is the most powerful female warrior of this generation, Amora can be sure that Sif is definitely not Lily. Her methods are completely useless against Sif. Wait a little longer. You will never escape from my palm. Seeing this, Amora had no choice but to observe secretly, and did not come forward rashly. It would be bad if it aroused the vigilance of the other party. While Amora was thinking, Aaron and Fandral had already exchanged hands. Chapter 15. Fandral, who was brutally hit, Loki is doing it again, seeking flowers for evaluation. This swordsmanship duel has already decided the outcome from the very beginning. That's Vandal winning. At least that's what the Sifs think. Fandral, as Ged's well-known swordsmanship master, if he showed his swordsmanship alone, few people could beat him. Coupled with his age advantage, his physical fitness is also better than Aaron's. Logically speaking, there is no suspense in this battle. However, not long after the fighting started, this idea was overturned. Aaron showed no weaker sword skills than Fandral. The magnificent swordsmanship amazed several people. It even made a few people have a strange idea. Is he really Aaron? Thor and the others looked at each other, completely unaware that the situation of the battle would develop in another direction. Did Fandral keep it? Thor yelled. Fandral, did you go to a private meeting with another girl last night, or did you get drunk with that little wine? Vorstig didn't hold back his sarcasm, and retaliated against Fandral's previous joke in another way. Fandral, you should practice hard. Back then, you were the most superb sword master in Asgard. What about now? With the most dazzling master title, but was defeated by a magic apprentice with swordsmanship. If you tell it, the girls will empathize with each other. Vostig, you do what you want. Don't make sarcastic remarks there. Fandral, who was in the center, replied angrily, but in this instant, Aaron's sword almost broke through his defense line. Fandral said silently, looking at Aaron who was focused on the battle. He felt very puzzled. When did Aaron's swordsmanship become so exaggerated? Advertisement. Ad, could it be that I have been wandering in the flowers for a long time, and I have been slack? Remember how long it's been since the last duel? Seems like a month or two. He clearly remembered that swordsmanship duel, and he easily won the victory. Aaron is indeed very diligent and dedicated, but there are some things that don't just work hard. In fencing, hard work is very important, but ability is even more important. But now, with all his strength, he couldn't defeat the opponent with pure swordsmanship. On the contrary, he faced many dangers and almost lost several times. It is also fortunate that although Aaron is superb in swordsmanship, he seems to lack some actual combat and is slightly weaker than himself in terms of strength. Otherwise, the name of the master of swordsmanship has really changed hands. In the blink of an eye, the two exchanged several moves. Fandral only felt that Aaron's offensive became more and more violent. The level of swordsmanship is improving at a speed visible to the naked eye. As his opponent, Vandal felt the most obvious. He is going to lose. Stop. Just as the duel was entering a heated stage, Irene hurried over from a distance. Seeing this, Aaron stopped further attacks, recovering from the joy of the crazy increase in proficiency. Fandral couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Advertisement. Ad, the savior is here. A little later, and the battle will be over. Prince Thor, I have something to ask for Aaron. Irene greeted several people, and then left with Aaron still full of ideas. In this kind of swordsmanship duel, Aaron discovered one thing, that is, the higher the skill level, the strength can indeed be increased, but there is still room for discovery of this increase in strength. It's like an ordinary person and a soldier king are both shooting with the same level of guns. Obviously both pull the trigger, but the former will be completely abused by the latter. When the skill level is high, you must spend time in actual combat, otherwise you will not be able to fully exert your combat power. Moreover, in actual combat, the improvement of swordsmanship proficiency is faster. Unfortunately, the improvement in actual combat may not be able to apply to magic. Aaron sighed. After Aaron was taken away by Irene, Thor and the others quickly surrounded him, their eyes full of suspicion. They still suspected that Fandral had kept his hand. Will Fandral lose to a recruit at swordsmanship? That is definitely a big joke. It's like Thor. Thor will be subdued by others with lightning. Is it possible? Absolutely impossible. Thor is quite confident about this. He is Thor! Fandral didn't wield the sword flower again this time. After retracting the sword neatly, he said in a complicated tone, don't look, I have tried my best. Aaron's sword skills have surpassed mine. If the duel continues, I must be the loser! Actually, if it wasn't for my strength being a little stronger than his, it might be. Sigh. I'm going back first. I need to calm down and go drink together next time. Advertisement. Ad, from his eyes, several people could see that this master swordsman was hit hard. For a moment, the atmosphere fell silent. On the other hand, Loki, while gloating over Fandral's misfortune, also felt a bit of sympathy. Both get hit by the same guy in what they do best. The difference is that Fandral lost completely, but he also knows other magic. Yes, I know more magic than Aaron. Even if illusion magic is surpassed, he can't compare to me. Just the magic I know is not comparable to him. I still have a chance. I haven't lost yet. The number one magician in the 9 realms can only be me. Loki regained his confidence again. At this moment, there was light in his eyes. Fandral is gone. What should we do? Hogan, who has always been relatively silent, broke the silence. Drink? Thor tentatively asked. Before he opened his mouth, He felt that the atmosphere was not right. Thor stroked his hair and smiled awkwardly. Well, I remembered that I still have something to do. You guys talk first. I'm going back. Fandral and Thor left one after another, and the others did not stay any longer. Seeing this, Loki rolled his eyes and turned towards the Golden Hall. He suddenly felt that it was necessary for him to ask Frigg for magic. He is an excellent magician who loves to learn. Chapter 16 Spiritual Barrier. Your sister Amora is here, seeking flower evaluation. Aaron, who was taken away by Irene, thought it was a big deal. Unexpectedly, Irene just handed herself a magic book, focusing on telling herself to be careful of a woman named Amora, and then left. Amora? Such a familiar name. Could it be her? Aaron thought for a while, and some information about the enchanted witch Amora appeared in his memory. The title of charming witch is not small. Amora, as a master of spiritual magic, is different from Irene's respect, and what she gets is more fear. No matter men or women, as long as they know Amora's nickname, it is impossible not to be afraid. Men are afraid of Amora controlling themselves, while women are afraid of Amora's charm. The thought of Aaron saying be careful with Amora. Is the enchantress eyeing me? Aaron felt a toothache. He has only just come into contact with magic, and he has learned very little magic, and there is no magic that can resist the mind. In front of Amora, I'm afraid that he will not be able to survive around meet and kill. But he wasn't worried about what Amora would really do to him. Advertisement. Add otherwise, Irene wouldn't just explain. And here is Asgard. Odin is still alive. Amora dare not do anything wrong. Fortunately, the magic book given by Irene was just enough to solve his urgent needs. Is it about the magic that resists the charm of the mind? It seems that I have to put down other plans first and learn this magic first. After flipping through the magic book, I found the most needed magic at the moment, the mind barrier magic. After practicing, a spiritual barrier can be established in the brain. Can resist the bewitching control on a spiritual level. This magic is very difficult to practice, but its effect is relatively tasteless, because this magic can neither be used for offense, nor can it be used to resist real damage. For attacks at the spiritual level, the effect is not too strong. As for the entire Asgard, there are very few magicians who specialize in mind-charming magic. Men don't need to charm their enemies, they prefer to mow with their spears and axes. And women also have a warrior's heart, they disdain to use charm to achieve their goals. Among this small group of mind magicians, the most famous of them is the Charming Sisters. One was imprisoned in dungeon, and the other was supervised by other female magicians at the Magic Academy. In addition, the magicians of Asgard are basically women, which leads to few people learning this magic. If it weren't for dealing with Amora so soon, Aaron would rather spend this time on improving energy absorption. Aaron found a random place to sit on the ground and entered the learning stage. You have performed a mind barrier magic seriously, and you have gained a little bit, and your proficiency in mind barrier magic +1. Advertisement. Add A tilde you are serious ... A tilde. Soon, the mind barrier magic will be upgraded to LV2. But here comes the problem again. Because of using magic many times, the magic energy has long been exhausted. There is no spare energy to continue to improve the mind barrier magic. It's just a level 2 mental barrier. Whether it can resist the famous enchantress, Aaron has no idea. According to Irene and Fandral, someone who can become a master in a certain field must at least master the level 3 peak or even level 4 in this field. Since Amora can be called a master of spiritual magic, it is impossible for a level 2 mental barrier to work. But at this moment, Aaron, who has the level of a master of illusion magic, found that his surroundings had long been surrounded by illusions. The person who can achieve this level of illusion is most likely Irene. Obviously, Irene also expected that Aaron would need time to recover his magic power and learn spiritual magic, so he built a barrier before leaving. Prevent Amora from coming to the door in advance. Seeing this scene, Aaron was completely relieved and began to recover his magic power. Beyond the phantom, Amora followed the trail of Irene and Aaron carefully. But follow and follow, people disappeared. Where are people? I have been following well, how could I lose track? Amora, who was in doubt, soon thought of illusion magic. Advertisement. Add Irene ... Didn't expect you to do this to get Aaron to avoid me. But how long can you avoid me? Isn't it just an illusion magic? Do you really think that if you are a master of illusion, no one can break your illusion? Amora smiled coldly, and a look of reluctance appeared on her beautiful face. She is indeed a master of spiritual magic, but at the same time, her attainments in illusion magic are not bad. It's just that outsiders are more afraid of her charm and ignore Amora's other magic. Therefore, Aaron stepped up his magic upgrade in the illusion. while Amora tried to break the magic outside the illusion. More than an hour later. Ha ha ha, isn't it just an illusion magic? It's nothing more than that. Irene, you're lost. I have seen through your magic. Master of illusion. HMPH. Amora took a proud catwalk, walking calmly in the phantom. Soon passed through the illusory outside world and came to the real inner space. As soon as he entered, he saw Aaron sitting alone on the ground. As for Irene, she was nowhere to be seen. No one guards. Seeing this scene, Amora couldn't hide her smile even more. Hey, little genius, your sister Amora is here. Chapter 17 Big Sister's Temptation, Psychokinesis. Asking for flowers and comments. Amora, you're here. When Amora approached, Aaron interrupted his meditation and opened his eyes to look at the legendary enchantress. A green long dress, golden wavy long hair, slim figure, attractive red lips, all show that she is a stunner. Coupled with her excellent mind charm magic, it is no wonder that almost no opposite sex can escape her grasp. Amora stroked her curly hair lightly, and said in a teaching tone, "Little genius, I am the spiritual magic teacher of the academy." As a former student of Irene, calling the teacher by his name is not what a student should do. Didn't your teacher Irene tell you? But, who told you that you are a handsome little genius? I can allow you to call me Teacher Amora. You said, am I good to you? Much better than Irene. She's a famous old antique in the academy. It's not like Teacher Amora, who is beautiful and easy to get along with. Amora continued to approach, with a pair of pupils like water, and Aaron looked at each other. But to Aaron's surprise, Amora did not activate the charm magic. But he didn't let his guard down. After thinking for a while, he calmly said, Teacher Irene gave me 3 spells. When Amora heard this, a trace of astonishment flashed in her eyes. What's the meaning? Could it be that Irene handed him 3 spells, so he is better than himself? Is this the way of thinking of a magic genius? Advertisement. Ad. Didn't you see a delicate beauty in front of you? Are you so indifferent? Beautiful, kind and plump big sister didn't say anything. Amora's soft smile became a bit stiff, but she is not a little girl. She is not low profile, and immediately smiled like a flower, and said softly, I only taught you 3 magic spells. I heard that she also gave you a magic book. Let you study by yourself? Shaking his head with a bit of fear on his face, he seemed to look down on Irene's behavior very much, and said for Aaron, Irene is still as narrow-minded as ever. I must be worried that you will surpass her in magic, so I will hide it from you. Tuck in. If I were my sister, after seeing your magic ability, I would definitely teach you everything. Seeing that Aaron remained indifferent, Amora knew that this man was the one who didn't see the rabbit or the eagle. If you don't show some sweetness, you won't be able to fool the other party. Amora really wanted to use mind charm magic to confuse the other party and herself to leave. But considering that Irene was likely to be observing nearby, she pressed down on this thought. And Irene is not terrible, but she is also a master of illusion, and it is not easy for her to defeat the opponent. If it attracts other teachers, even Frigga, Odin, it will be troublesome. She doesn't want to be imprisoned in a lonely dungeon like her sister. Therefore, Amora thought of using her own charm to try to abduct Aaron. As long as Aaron can stand on her side and stay away from Irene, then she has plenty of means to make the other party obedient. When she thought about it, how could a young man who had just grown up resist the temptation of Big Sister? It's definitely within reach. Advertisement. And however, it was at this moment that Amora felt a little tricky. It seems that this magical genius is not easy to win. Aaron didn't know what Amora was thinking. Seeing that Amora didn't use mind charm directly, and couldn't test the defense strength of the mind barrier magic that had just been upgraded to level 3, she felt a little regretful. But on second thought, it's better to find a way to get some magic out of Amora's hands. It's best to get the psychic series magic at hand. Maybe he can control the power of the mind in the future. You know, among the 6 infinite gems, there is an infinite gems named after the soul. The ability of the mind is also a very powerful concept of psychokinesis. As for whether magic can be set out, Aaron glanced at Amora, feeling 80% sure. He didn't know the conflict between Amora and Irene, but judging from Amora's belittling of Irene several times, as long as he can take advantage of this relationship, he will be able to get a lot of money. Maybe it can be emptied directly and squeezed out every drop of Amora. Amora did not expect that Aaron would dare to calculate himself when the 2 sides were disparate in strength. She just wants to take Aaron down now. On the one hand, there are other calculations. On the other hand, I want to see Irene crying. To be honest, she has long been uncomfortable with Irene's long-term hostility. Advertisement. And if you can abduct the most valued disciple of the other party, then I don't know how exciting it will be. Thinking of this, Amora no longer hesitated, and immediately transformed into teacher mode. Isn't it magic? Sister, I know more magic. Today I will teach you a new magic, a magic that even Irene doesn't know, that is psychokinesis. This is one of the derivatives of magic. The most basic usage is to manipulate objects to fly freely. Once you are proficient, you can transform magic into an invisible power that can take things from a distance. It is hard to guard against, and it can also realize flight. As she spoke, Amora opened her hands, and an invisible force lifted her up in the air, and the long skirt floated slightly with the invisible force. Flight? I think this is floating, Aaron complained inwardly. Obviously, the psychokinesis displayed by Amora cannot achieve the flight in her mouth. At most it is floating. Loki has also used these two tricks. During the battle, Zeng floated for a short time, and he seemed to have nothing else to do except show off his handsomeness. More is to use psychokinesis to control the dagger, which is also Loki's most commonly used method, and it can be regarded as one of his signature skills. As for power, well, don't look straight. In addition to being more handsome, all in all, this ability is rather tasteless. But this kind of chicken rib is for Loki and Amora. Falling into the hands of Aaron, the psychokinesis displayed is definitely not simply floating, let alone manipulating two daggers to attract attention. Chapter 18 The Genius Trouble, Frightened Amora, Seeking Flowers for Evaluation. There are also psychokinesis masters in Marvel. That is the Ebony Maw who shined in the Avengers Alliance 3. He is one of Thanos' 5 generals of Obsidian and a powerful master of psychokinesis. The biggest advantage of Ebony Maw's psychokinesis is its smoothness, which is unexpected and extremely powerful at the same time. Even steel can be deformed at will under the control of his psychokinesis. In Infinity War, he easily overpowered the unfamiliar Doctor Strange Stephen. Its performance is quite amazing. In terms of strength, he ranks first among the 5 generals of Obsidian. The final way of death was quite aggrieved. The spaceship was torn apart by Iron Man and Spider-Man. One was sucked into space without paying attention, and died of freezing. Even so, his strength is still obvious to all of which illustrate the terrifying ability of psychokinesis. In contrast to the performance of Loki and Amora, it can only be said to be mediocre. You have performed psychokinesis seriously, and you have gained a little psychokinesis proficiency +1. A tilde you play it seriously. A tilde. Under Amora's shocking gaze, Aaron quickly stacked psychokinesis to LV2. Subsequently, an invisible force swept around Aaron. Amora was completely unprepared, and was pushed back again and again by shockwave. Long skirts also danced in the storm. It's a pity that Amora is still wearing black silk leather pants. Advertisement. Amora gave Aaron an angry look, but the latter was unmoved. This is psychokinesis. Transform magic into the form of psychokinesis, and attack all around instead of hands. Its strength depends on the amount of magic power released. In general, few magicians use psychokinesis like Ebony Maw. The reason is very simple. The magicians of Asgard use the magic they have accumulated through hard work. Every time I use magic, I can't wait to split the magic power into 2 uses. How can it be luxury to spend mana to use psychokinesis to fight against the enemy? This not only consumes mana, but is also a great burden on the spirit. Although psychokinesis is quite gorgeous and shocking to use, it can subdue the enemy in unexpected ways. But this way consumes too much magic. You can use a more magic-saving way. For example, cold weapon harvesting. A battle that can be resolved with physical strength is not as expensive as this. Even with magic, there is no need to use psychokinesis. It can be done with magic and close combat. This is why psychokinesis is rarely used by Asgard magicians. Loki, who has the blood of the Frost Titan royal family, also uses it on special occasions. I'm afraid that the reason Irene doesn't know psychokinesis is not that she can't learn it, but that she doesn't learn it at all. In comparison, psychokinesis manipulation may make more sense. Advertisement. Summons a dagger. Well, the same one as Loki. The right hand opened upwards, and the dagger was lifted in the air by the invisible hand. From the shaking from side to side due to unfamiliarity at the beginning, it didn't take long for him to stabilize his balance, and under the control of his mind, he circled around Aaron. After a little familiarity, Aaron pointed in one direction and waved his hand. Go. The dagger turned into a sharp arrow and hit the target with a swish. After controlling the dagger to return the same way, Aaron took back the space and nodded slowly. Not bad. At present, it can only be described as not bad. Psychokinesis has a lot of potential, but it is bound to be unable to play a big role due to its level and magic power. But handsome is enough. No wonder Loki often uses this trick to show off. Sure enough, things like pretend still depend on Loki. Then, Aaron used psychokinesis again, trying to lift his body. The whole person staggered slowly into the air, and then ... no more. The most psychokinesis can do today is levitate. Flight does not exist. Oh, the magic power is too little. Looking for external energy Genishi matters. Without delay, Aaron sighed. Advertisement. Amora blinked, her eyes somewhat confused. Looking away from the crack caused by the dagger's penetration in the distance, he looked up and down Aaron strangely. Then saw Aaron floating in the air, and sighed again. Learned this? It looks like. Seems not satisfied yet. Is this the magical genius? Amora pursed her lips, feeling sour. The joys and annoyances of magical geniuses. I don't understand. I really want to feel this kind of trouble. Amora shook her head, trying her best to recover from her envy and jealousy. She was afraid that if she thought about it any longer, she would want to eat him up. Well, little genius, your magical ability is not bad. I am very happy that you can barely use psychokinesis so quickly, and it is only a little bit worse than mine. But don't be complacent, you're still a long way off. And psychokinesis is nothing at all. I have many other useful magics, which are much better than psychokinesis. In order to avoid being caught by Aaron's unnatural emotions, Amora quickly changed the subject and did not continue to pester psychokinesis. Aaron's figure was reflected in her eyes, and she bewitched in a child-abducting tone, "Sister, there are still many good things here. Do you want to continue learning?" "Yes." Aaron nodded without thinking. Amora smiled with a successful plan. "Come on, my sister will teach you." The second magic is ... Chapter 19. These days, the villains are no longer doing business, seeking flowers for comments. The second magic is energy explosion. Amora has done his best and is well versed in fishing. Seeing that Aaron didn't respond, she added, "Irene doesn't know how to do this either." However, Aaron still didn't cooperate and frowned instead. But after Amora said the name of the energy explosion, he vaguely guessed the magic. A rarer and more tasteless magic. As far as I can remember, Loki has only used it once. That time, it was only after hearing that Frigga died because of the reason he was guiding, that he couldn't control his emotions, causing his spirit to go berserk, and unconsciously used energy explosion. The power is to destroy some tables and stools. If this kind of stool is made of alu metal, it's okay to say, but it can make people look higher. After all, alu metal is one of Marvel's most special metals, creating several familiar artifacts. For example, Mjolnir, Storm Axe, later Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos' sword, all use aru metal. The Infinity Gauntlet can withstand the power of the infinite gems. Thanos' big knife can smash the bug like Captain America's shield with one knife. Storm Axe almost split Thanos in half, ending Infinity War prematurely. Not to mention Mjolnir, Thor, who is not far away, has the most say. That was his beloved little hammer, maybe even more important than girlfriends. But unfortunately, all Loki destroyed were wooden tables and stools. Even if the materials are special, what good things can be placed in dungeon? Advertisement. The most important thing is that the energy explosion requires a greater amount of mana. Aaron won't, and it's reasonable. Sure enough, Amora also explained this point in the introduction later. Energy explosion magic is an offensive magic that transforms magic power into invisible explosives, causing severe damage to surrounding enemies. It is most suitable for clearing the field in the most efficient way in Legion combat. It can not only kill people, but also achieve a knockback effect. Amora gave a live demonstration. When they came to an open space, the violent magical energy rushed to all directions in an instant. There was a bang, and cracks appeared on the ground centered on her. The earth is also sunken down a lot. But the sharp-eyed Aaron keenly saw the paleness of Mora's rosy face. Although it quickly returned to normal, it can be guessed that this move consumed a lot of Amora's mana, and only then did there appear a short magic vacuum gap. If you fight the enemy, you can take this opportunity to achieve lore. Look, isn't the power quite terrifying? Amora said triumphantly. Irene's fantasy duplication is not worth mentioning in front of the energy explosion. Follow me, sister. That's right. Aaron rolled his eyes, nodded perfunctorily, and began to mimic an energy blast. All of a sudden, constant explosions resounded through the sky. And outside, the Queen, "We can't wait any longer. Amora has made a move." Hearing a series of explosions, Irene couldn't sit still and wanted to rush in. "Don't worry, Aaron will be fine." Beside Irene, Frigg called her to stop without haste. Advertisement. Add in those pupils. A picture appeared. Present the situation inside completely. How could it be okay? Amora. No man can resist her charm. And I haven't given Aaron any more magic. It must be Amora's trick. A picture of Amora forcibly controlling Aaron emerged in Irene's mind. The evil witch used black magic to treat Aaron in such and such scenes. Terrible. At present, it seems that Amora is not manipulating Aaron's actions, but is teaching him the energy explosion magic. The current movement is all caused by Aaron's experimenting with new magic. You don't have to panic. Frigg was very steady. Hearing this, Aaron was finally relieved. But then, another question popped up. Is that woman really able to teach others magic? In the Academy of Magic, Amora, the spiritual magic teacher, is the most leisurely, because very few people are willing to learn mind charm. After that accident, the higher-ups secretly taught people the bad side of mind charm magic. There were very few people who learned charm magic, and since then, it has become even rarer. It seems that after learning that kind of magic, you will receive strange eyes when you go out. Coupled with Amora's temperament, she will not teach her apprentices at all. Cause Irene couldn't believe Amora had a moment but a teacher. Frigga didn't speak, but still stared inside. If someone saw her eyes, they could tell that Frigga was not calm at the moment. Magic monster really exist. Loki quietly stood beside Frigga. Advertisement. Ad. Originally, after hearing a series of explosions, he wished that Aaron would suffer more. Without him, it was because the other party threatened his position as the #1 magician and sarcastically himself. After hearing what Frigga said later, Loki curled his lips, full of regret in his heart. Why did it develop like this? How could the enchantress do good deeds? Something is wrong. Just now, after parting with Thor and the others, Loki found Frigg, thinking about learning some new magic from his mother. Or practice the magic you learned. Seeing this, Frigga didn't refuse. It's a good thing that Loki took the initiative to learn magic. The naughty child finally grew up. While Frigga was teaching Loki, Irene rushed to the door and said that the enchantress was going to attack Aaron. Loki was in a pretty happy and excited mood at the time. He doesn't like Aaron. Geniuses and geniuses are sometimes sympathetic to each other, but more likely to be hostile to each other. What's more, Aaron is also a monster. Geniuses are stronger than ordinary people, but in front of monsters it hurts to think about it. Loki is very upset, and he just likes to watch Aaron suffer. As soon as he heard that Aaron might have an accident, he followed Frigga to the Magic Academy without saying a word, wanting to witness Aaron make a fool of himself. However, the development of things will always surprise people. The notorious Amora unexpectedly became serious, and began to teach people magic, and the teaching object was that guy Aaron. Very upset. These days, the villains are not doing their jobs. Chapter 20. Is it so difficult to be a good person? Asking for flowers and evaluation, Amora naturally didn't know that she was completely belittled by Loki. What's more, Tanhu and Irene were watching outside, and could rush in to subdue her at any time. Her guess was not wrong. Irene had gone to great lengths to guard against her. Not only did he impose a phantom scene to delay the time, but he also invited the Queen of Heaven to prevent accidents. Now, Amora opened her mouth wide, staring blankly at Aaron, repeating the energy explosion process. Wild. So fast. Very scary. Learning is as fast as ever. The speed of improvement is still scary. The spellcasting proficiency is super fierce. Monster. Heart hurts. As for Aaron, after practicing energy explosion many times, he realized that the loss of magic power exceeded a certain limit, so he stopped abruptly. After a short practice, Aaron was almost familiar with the characteristics of the energy explosion. It's pretty cool when you use it, but it's a motherfucker when you restore mana. After he was almost familiar with it, Aaron temporarily put it on the shelf. There is no way. He has just come into contact with magic, and the time to accumulate magic power is too little. In addition, the ability needs to use magic frequently, so it is destined that he cannot keep too much magic power all the time. Energy storm, as far as it is concerned, is too extravagant. Learned again? As soon as he said it, Amora wanted to slap herself. Isn't this obvious? But this learning speed is too fast. I can't appreciate the joy of being a teacher at all. Advertisement. And it turns out that being a teacher is so boring. Why is Aaron so interested in being a teacher? Unreasonable. Inexplicably, a sense of loss arises spontaneously. She didn't want to be a teacher anymore. Not even teaching magic. After teaching the students, I'm afraid that the teacher will starve to death, etc. I heard that Aaron learned Irene's phantom magic that day, and he can also create energy entity duplication. His phantom magic skills are not weaker than Irene's. If I taught him mind charm, does it mean that within a few days, he will be able to surpass me in this area? At that time, can you still charm the other party? It should be said, who is seducing whom? Amora's expression fluctuated, and she was so frightened by her own thoughts that she lost her sense of proportion. Could it be that a charming wizard will appear in the future? Sister Amora, Aaron called out. Here. Amora woke up with a jolt. If Aaron had called her sister earlier, she would have been delighted. But now, she didn't think so anymore. She was afraid. She was afraid that Aaron would continue to call her sister. Should she teach more magic, even mind magic? Maybe. That day will come. She could understand why Irene was so flustered, and even used the enchanted magic book to send her away. If the two sides switched, she would definitely do that. However, she couldn't come up with another enchanting spellbook. Advertisement. Amora is different from Irene. She mainly focuses on mind charm magic, and has almost no special research on enchanting. Irene, on the other hand, focuses on illusion magic, which is less difficult than spiritual magic, and spends almost all her time on magic, so she has more time to learn enchantment magic. At this moment, Amora felt regretful. There was even a question of whether to directly charm the other party and finish the job. Aaron is a magical monster. Let it continue, and it won't be long before his magic level will leave him far behind. At that time, it was really uncertain who was right. Just when Amora was thinking, Aaron seemed to know her heart, and as soon as he opened his mouth, he calmed her down. Sister Amora, I heard that you are a famous master of spiritual magic, so, do you want to try to charm me, huh? Amora's face was quite wonderful. She suspected she had heard wrong. You mean, let me charm you? Yes, I want to try, Aaron said seriously. After seeing Amora's looking troops just now, Aaron knew that it was hopeless to continue to squeeze at this moment. This look is exactly the same as when I asked Irene for advice at the Magic Academy. He even wondered if he should be a little dumb next time. Otherwise, it will be very expensive for the teacher. One by one, all of them were hit with doubts about their lives. It can only be said that the ability of God rewards those who work hard is indeed too buggy. If it were Aaron, it wouldn't be much better than the two. Genius is still within the acceptable range. As for evildoers, it is indeed unacceptable. Aaron didn't want to be that sensational either, but time was ticking. Now in Asgard again, the teaching environment is much better than that on Earth, and there are not so many intrigues and intrigues. Advertisement. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so undisguised. It is not difficult to understand the truth, that a tree that is beautiful in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. Get a positive answer from Aaron. Amora was panicked and dazed. She wondered if Aaron could use magic like mind reading to see through her inner thoughts. Or a prophet? No, probably not. He also had no chance to touch such a high level of magic. So, Aaron simply wanted to verify the legend of the enchanted witch. Could it be that my acting skills are too good and I behave too much like the big sister who leads the house? For some reason, Amora was even a little happy. But she still did not relax her vigilance. Rather like a frightened hare, she said cautiously, "Do you know what you are talking about? Are you not afraid that I will make you do something you can't bear after bewitching you?" "I'm not afraid." There was a silence in the air. Amora was quite confused. Going around and going around, why did I return to the original point? Originally, he didn't think of being cruel, but the other party actually asked him to do it. It's so hard to be human. It's hard to be a good person once. Why is it so difficult? Amora looked at Aaron carefully again, and after making sure that she was not joking, she stopped hesitating. She, who was not considered a good person, directly activated the charm magic. "Do you think I'm beautiful? P.S. Originally, I wanted to ask for a flower evaluation ticket monthly ticket, but I will be very busy tomorrow and the next day, and I have to go out all day. I guess I can only use the code on my mobile phone, so try to make sure that there are 3 changes in these 2 days. Sorry. Chapter 21 Asgard is really a monster! Do you think I'm beautiful, Aaron? Look at me. But as soon as Amora opened her mouth, the charming power of invisible began to act on Aaron's senses. The same words kept echoing in my ears. In sight, Amora's appearance became more and more gorgeous, as if she was more moving and beautiful than before. The power of charm tries to seize control of the body by modifying the 5 senses and entering the brain. However, after this charming force entered the brain, it was firmly blocked by a barrier, unable to further affect Aaron's spirit. Seeing Aaron's gradually blurred eyes, Amora smiled brighter and brighter. It worked. In her presence, no man is immune to her charms. Magic and evildoers cannot be avoided. At this time, Amora is thinking about how to deal with Aaron. According to the original idea, after taking down Aaron, she will help Aaron master more magic besides mind magic and become a powerful magician. Then use the strength of the other party to make yourself go one step further. By the way, it can also save her stupid sister. This time, on a whim, I taught Aaron 2 spells, just to prove whether the evil rumors spread by Irene and the group of apprentices were true. After the test, she became more determined about her previous thoughts. Aaron has a powerful ability in magic that has never been seen before or since. Once it grows up, it will be possible to break the shackles of blood, from an ordinary Asgir to a powerful god that can only be reached by royal blood. Maybe, there is still the possibility of challenging Odin's rule. Even if you can't beat Odin, you can kill the opponent. Advertisement. Adamaro has long discovered that Odin is getting old, and the God King has gradually lost his absolute dominance over the 9 realms. When Lorelei launched the coup, she also discovered this matter. However, Odin is more tenacious than imagined. Lived for hundreds of years. But no problem, she's still young, and Aaron is still young. With Aaron's magical ability, after killing Odin, she can seek a higher status with him. As for Thor's megalomaniac, a little trickery can solve it. Compared to his father, he is much younger. The second prince, Loki, has good intelligence but weaker strength. When Aaron grows up, he will definitely be able to suppress the opponent with ease. Amara has already begun to imagine a better life in the future. What's on your mind? I was wondering ... Huh? Are you okay? Amara suddenly realized that she didn't give an order for Aaron to speak. So, Aaron wasn't charmed? Yes. Quite tenacious. Being able to do this step has surpassed 99% of men. Seeing Aaron's clear gaze, Amara raised her eyebrows, put her hand on Aaron's shoulder, and launched a stronger spiritual charm. This time, she had a clear perception that there was a barrier in Aaron's mind, blocking all her spiritual power out. Soul barrier? When did you learn it? Just before you came. Aaron replied directly. Damn it, it's Irene. Even if you're not here, you still want to fight me? No wonder you took Aaron away and set up an illusion to block me. Advertisement. Adamara already understood why Irene suddenly appeared and took Aaron away before herself. It turned out that it was to teach the other party the mind barrier magic to resist the charm magic. But how can you stop me after learning the mind barrier for such a short time? I'm a master of mind magic. Amara exerted her psychic power with all her strength, trying to break through the barrier and completely control the opponent. She doesn't believe that a small spiritual barrier can do anything to win her mind barrier. She will too. As a master of psychic magic, she has absolute authority over psychic magic. After many experiments, the upper limit of the resistance of the mind barrier has long been known. This time, it's done. However, after all, she overestimated her own spiritual power. The spiritual barrier is the nemesis of the power of the mind, and the LV3 barrier is already enough to resist tomorrow's control. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break through the barrier. The most hopeful moment is just a little short. Amara silently withdrew her hands, her whole body froze. My mind went blank. A broken bar. Tanhu, what's going on inside? Irene couldn't wait any longer. Aaron and Amara have been inside for a long time. Just the two of them. She didn't want such an excellent magic seedling to be ruined by Amara. Facing Irene's anxious questioning, Frigga's face was very strange, and there was still some shock left. She didn't say much, just replied, "You will know soon." Advertisement. Irene was still about to say something when she saw Amara walking out. It looks so bleak and sad. Another. Loki muttered silently. Although he didn't know exactly what happened, the states of Mora and Fandral could not be said to be completely similar, but they could only be said to be exactly the same. Another bad luck. Amara, what have you done? Erin stepped forward to question. Facing the old enemy's questioning, Amara turned her head stiffly and glanced at her lightly, without any reaction. Only when he saw Frigg, his dead fish-like eyes moved. But when she thought of the power of spiritual charm she was proud of, she was directly blocked by Erin, who had learned the spiritual barrier for an hour, and she returned to the previous state. "Thanks to you, I can't do anything." After leaving a word coldly, Amara left without looking back. Frigga didn't stop it, because Amara really couldn't do anything. If Tanhu doesn't move, Loki won't do anything. Iron, just now I heard you said that before you came to me, you gave Aaron a magic book about spiritual resistance. Are you sure he hasn't been exposed to any magics before? Irene froze for a moment. Combined with Frigga and Amara's performance, an absurd idea took root in her mind uncontrollably. Could it be that Amara's mind magic was blocked by Aaron? No, I can assure you, he only got the first perception of the magic power when he took my first class. In addition, he does not have the right to enter the library to look up magic. So, he really only spent an hour learning the mind barrier? Frigga's expression changed slightly, and she turned around and walked towards the Golden Hall regardless of Irene and Loki. Asgard really has magic monsters! Chapter 22, The Blessing of Odin and the Holy Fountain. Seeing Frigga leave, Loki looked in Aaron's direction thoughtfully. As smart as he is, he has already guessed part of the possibility. Can you resist tomorrow just by learning mind magic? He vaguely sensed that there were other things happening inside. But what exactly happened? You can only ask Aaron and Amora, or find Frigga. After hesitating for a while, he chased after Frigg. At this time Aaron also came out, looking pretty good spirits. Aaron, are you okay? Amora didn't do anything to you, did she? Although she learned some things from Frigg, but out of love for magical geniuses, Irene couldn't help but care. I'm fine, better than ever. Do you think I'm someone who has something to do? Aaron motioned her to reassure. Irene repeatedly confirmed that Aaron didn't look confused, and his face was similar to usual, so she felt relieved. People who are controlled by mind charm magic, as long as they distinguish carefully, they can still find a clue. From Aaron, she found nothing wrong. If you really want to say yes. That is, Aaron seems to be in a good mood, not as uncomfortable as he imagined. Advertisement. Ad in comparison, Amora's problem is obviously bigger. She has never seen anyone who controls others, and the controlled person glows cautiously, while the manipulator looks like a walking dead. If someone told her without her knowledge that Amora was the victim, the persuasion would be relatively stronger. Don't worry, Amora is not bad. She also taught me 2 new spells. Aaron smiled and said, he really thinks Amora is not bad. This is not because Amora taught him magic, but because he learned 2 good news from the other party. How to solve the problem of magic energy storage is probably settled. As a senior magician, Amora does not follow the rules like other magicians. She is keen to explore forbidden knowledge. There are special studies on the history of Asgard and various legends. When Aaron asked how to quickly increase the magic energy reserve, Amora suggested 2 possible approaches. The first is to find a way to obtain Odin's blessing. Odin, the powerful deity with the title of the King of God, has more abilities than shown in the movie. Aaron knows that Odin's blessing can improve people's physical fitness in all aspects. The once invincible Valkyrie army is Odin's selection of the most loyal part of the Asgard women, and then using Odin's power to empower them, each of which has at least the strength of the 3 Asgard warriors. The female warriors who received the blessing of Odin formed the Valkyrie Legion and made many contributions in the war of unification of the 9 worlds. Even Thor, at the time, dreamed of becoming a member of the Valkyrie army. Advertisement. This shows how powerful and deeply rooted the Valkyrie was at that time. It was only in the later crusade against Hela that they were all sent out by Odin as cannon fodder, and only Valkyrie escaped by chance. So far, Valkyrie has completely become a legend. And after that, Odin stopped making Valkyries because there was no need for war, resulting in Aaron's ignorance of Odin's blessings. After Amora's analysis, Aaron knew that Odin's blessing was not that simple. It can be said that it is to use the authority of the King of Gods to create gods, and it's permanent. Contrary to imagination, receiving the power of their blessing depends entirely on Odin's thoughts. It can be either improving physical fitness or gaining powerful magic power. It's just that fighters with improved physical fitness are easier to control. Hearing this plan, Aaron didn't think too much, and passed directly. The reason is very simple. Odin has not created a new Valkyrie army for so long since the Battle of the Valkyrie group. For so long in the follow-up, Heimdall was given the authority to control dark energy. From here, it is not difficult to guess what Odin is thinking. Maybe it's old, maybe he thinks he doesn't need it anymore. Whatever the reason, Aaron would not have chosen this route. Advertisement. He couldn't be as loyal as Heimdall, nor would he be driven by Odin, although receiving the blessing of Odin is indeed a good way to become stronger. But then I thought about it, since Odin can bless, can't it be deprived? And to be honest, Aaron doesn't like this power either. Valkyrie's strength is not bad, but in the eyes of the strong, he is still an ant, and he was easily praised by Hela. Heimdall's performance is also very worrying, except for the CD-long intergalaxy teleportation and all-seeing eye, there is nothing else to watch. As for the second method, that is to find the Holy Spring. Amora found a Holy Spring, the Fountain of Wisdom, from the magic book. It is said that the Fountain of Wisdom is located in Jotunheim, surrounded by magic for a long time, and the spring water contains incredible power. If the Holy Fountain can be found, the magic energy problem may be solved. Amora is not sure about this, as the information exists in the books and has not been verified. But Aaron thinks it might be. In mythology, Odin's blind eye was exchanged for the knowledge in the spring. Thor, the Rune King in the comics, also completed his transformation by the Fountain of Wisdom. It is said that the Fountain of Wisdom is connected to the World Tree, and this alone is enough to make people look sideways. Aaron set a new goal for himself, which is to find the Holy Spring. Chapter 23 Hunter and Prey, the key to solving the problem. The most important issue now is the whereabouts of the Holy Spring. Current information only confirms that the Fountain of Wisdom is located in Jotunheim, and Jotunheim is the territory of the Frost Titans, covered by ice all the year round, and its original residents, the Frost Titans, are all over the world. If you want to find the Fountain of Wisdom, you have to face the immeasurable number of Titans that may come forward to block it. This is the second question. Between Frost Titan and Asgard, there has been a death feud. The two clans fought many times, and the war ended in Midgard 1,000 years ago. In that battle, one eye of Odin was permanently damaged, and the Frost Titan King Lorf was deprived of the casket of ancient winters. Without the relic, Lorf completely lost the possibility of competing with Odin, had to passively sign a non-war contract. This led to the emergence of a fragile peace that lasted for thousands of years. They will never treat the Asgardians who trespass into Jotunheim with kindness. There is a high probability that swords will face each other. Aaron still remembers that his predecessor's parents were casually killed by Lorf in the Battle of Midgard 1,000 years ago. So, strictly speaking, there is also great hatred between him and Frost Titan. If given the chance, Aaron wouldn't mind settling this feud of murdering his father and mother himself. That's why, when facing Loki before, there was a sense of repulsion deep in my heart, because Loki is a descendant of the Frost Titan royal family. Advertisement. Ad. When he didn't remember anything, he was taken away by Odin, who used magic to turn him into an Asgard appearance, and then adopted him by his side. The intention, Aaron guessed, was probably to prepare Loki to replace Lorf as the new Frost Titan King at the right time, then pass the throne of Asgard to Thor. In this way, by virtue of the brotherhood between Thor and Loki, the hatred between the two races can be eliminated, and the two watch and help each other to maintain the peace of the 9 realms. However, Odin didn't expect it, because he said that they were both born to be kings, but he didn't tell Loki's life experience, and even ignored his growth, which caused Loki to become rebellious and mischievous, and mistakenly thought that Odin was partial. In the back, even if he knew his life experience, Loki looked down on the Frost Titan throne. Instead, he designed to kill Lorf, and tried to use Bifrost to directly destroy Jotunheim, and then use this credit to secure Asgard throne. Odin's original idea was good, but the process went awry. Don't look at Lorf's death seems to be very sudden, very unexpected. But Aaron never underestimated the seemingly weak Lorf. His weakness is relative to Odin. Even if he lost the holy object, he is still the king of Frost Titan, and still possesses the power that ordinary people can't match. Coupled with the immeasurable amount of Frost Titans, it is quite difficult to reach the Fountain of Wisdom. Either improve their strength, and then turn into a bulldozer and directly push Lorf and his subordinates horizontally, or stealth magic. If you can hide from the Frost Titan, you can avoid war. When you reach the Fountain of Wisdom, you can quickly increase your strength by absorbing enough magic power so as to avoid direct conflict with Odin. The Eternal Fire and Casket of Ancient Winters are in Asgard, and they are very difficult to obtain. Advertisement. Ad. It's tricky, at least for Aaron right now. Once Odin finds out that Aaron has stolen these 2 artifacts, even a magician cannot escape the responsibility. After all, he was once the ruthless person who could ruthlessly seal Hela on the previous year, even erasing all traces of its existence. Even Thor and Loki, who have grown up so much, don't even know that there is a sister with terrifying strength above them, who is also the real heir to the throne. Besides the invisibility magic, there is one last question. How to get to Jotunheim? This problem, maybe there are 2 options. Heimdall, Loki. Just as Aaron was thinking, Irene still said earnestly, Aaron, Amora is an extremely dangerous person. Perhaps there is no one more dangerous than her in the whole of Asgard. Although you were lucky enough to avoid her this time, based on what I know about Amora, she can't let it go. Next time, she will definitely come to trouble you. You'd better stay away from her, and never stay alone with her again. Facing Aaron's worry, Aaron nodded to show that he knew, but he thought of another problem in his heart. By the way, Amora. Perhaps the key to solving the problem is her. It was Amora who found the news about the Holy Spring, and she also mastered the powerful power of spiritual charm, maybe even mastered invisibility magic. Advertisement. Ad. Perhaps, the key can be obtained from Amora. In the whole of Asgard, apart from Odin, the people who may know the location of the Fountain of Wisdom are Frigg and Heimdall. If Heimdall could be contained, the problem would be solved. Amora. We will meet again soon. Aaron suddenly felt that he might be able to subdue Amora. She brought herself many surprises. What's even more surprising is that her strength is the weakest among the key personnel, and the most powerful ability was restrained by himself. It's like fat meat delivered to your door. The other side, Amora, who left the Magic Academy, sneezed hard. However, She didn't realize that she had changed from a hunter to a prey. It is regarded as a soft persimmon. Golden Hall. Frigga went straight to Odin. She wants to tell the other party about Eren. P.S. I'm still in the car. I just used my mobile phone to code a chapter. I've been busy for a day today, and I'm going to be busy for 2 more days. I have a headache. I have to get up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yes, these 2 days I try to ensure that the 3 chapters are updated, and there is no rest time in the day. Chapter 24 Eren Manningsson, The Vanaheim Affair. Now, Odin sits high on the throne. Although the silver whitebeard hinted that the King of God was no longer young, his divine power still remained undiminished. Cooperating with his golden battle armor, a fierce and domineering aura rushed towards his face. No one doubts that as long as Odin sits on this throne, Asgard will remain stable. The status of the Lord of the Nine Realms will never be shaken. The King of God. There are some unstable factors in Vanaheim. The person under the throne is Heimdall, the patron saint who guards Bifrost and monitors the Nine Realms for Odin. A group of rebels are secretly planning a rebellion. They plan to contact other people in the next few days, gather together, and then provoke a war, seize the ruling power of Vanaheim, and destroy the peace of the Nine Realms. Several stone titans were also found in it. Should we take immediate action? Heimdall spoke without haste. Someone rebelled in Vanaheim, and it wasn't a big deal. Because of Odin's benevolent government, Asgard is only the ruler of the Nine Realms in name. Several other worlds are governed by the original races in their respective regions. Asgard doesn't even have the authority to command them, especially the Flame Titan, Frost Titan. And Vanaheim also hides many unwilling people. To some extent, they are all forced by Asgard's force, ostensibly acknowledging their status. Advertisement. But in fact, they all have ghosts in their hearts. Once there is any change in Asgard, they will set off a war of resistance as soon as possible, trying to overthrow Asgard's dominance. Especially in recent years, Odin has grown old, and the number of times of resistance has gradually increased. They were testing Asgard, testing whether Odin's age was still sharp, and testing whether the time had fallen. In fact, the current situation cannot be completely resolved at all, unless these races are completely slaughtered, just like the Dark Elves were treated back then. Even the presence of Odin, the most powerful god in existence, cannot change this fact. The reason is simple. The Asgard army is severely lacking. Compared with several other big countries, Protoss has the fewest members. Coupled with the tens of thousands of years of fighting in the south and the north, too many soldiers have died one after another. Compared with the time when the Dark Elves were conquered, the army is much smaller. Part of the reason why Odin didn't want to continue to expand was because of this factor. Asgard needs to rest. Now that the reputation has been made, there is no need to resort to military action. At least, within the Nine Realms, Asgard is the absolute king. As long as the countries stay in their respective territories honestly and don't make troubles, he will turn a blind eye. As for incidents like Vanaheim, Asgard will send someone to deal with them. After all, Hogun, one of the 3 warriors, came from there. Advertisement. As Hogun's friend, Thor will not sit idly by. Definitely, it is impossible for Odin to ignore it. Because the Queen Frigga is also from Vanaheim. What is Thor doing? Odin asked a question unrelated to Vanaheim's rebellion. Heimdall activated his all-seeing eyes to look over, and immediately replied, he is training swordsmanship with Fandral and the others. Odin nodded slightly. Yes, he finally stopped messing around and understood the importance of training. Go, tell Thor, and get him and his friends ready, in a week's time, to bring down the rebels. I see, God King. Heimdall took the order and left. There was no point in asking Odin why he delayed his departure by a week. At this time, Frigg walked in. Seeing the person coming, Odin's aura instantly softened. Although he and Frigga were in a political marriage, Frigga won the approval of him and the entire Asgard people with his unique personality charm. She can fully bear the title of queen. What happened to Vanaheim again? Frigga looked worried, disturbed by the turmoil caused by the coming war. It's going to be okay, just a few small problems. I need to use them to attract more mice, so that I can catch them all. Before Frigga asked, Odin explained his decision to delay sending troops. He didn't want Frigg to misunderstand him. Thor has grown up. He is the future king of Asgard. Advertisement. In addition to great strength and wisdom, it also needs to be crowned with a crown cast by countless military achievements. This time, I still let Thor lead the 3 warriors to suppress the turmoil. Only in this way can he gain more recognition from the army and the people. We have to let them know that Thor has the ability to lead them to victory. There is also enough ability to defend Asgard and the peace and stability of the 9 realms. Frigga nodded lightly, being smart. She immediately understood Odin's painstaking efforts. In addition to maintaining peace in the Nine Realms, this battle is more of Thor's personal show. They want to erect an invincible Thor. Only then can he succeed to the throne smoothly. Even though it would be bloody, a lot of blood, for Thor's sake, she refrained from asking. Later, Frigg told a story about the past. Do you remember a warrior named Manning in that battle 1,000 years ago? Manning? He was a mighty and heroic fighter with the courage to go forward. Odin only frowned for a moment before thinking of this man, whose memory was powerful enough to remember any member of the Eza Protoss he had ever met. As I remember, he has been arrested by Lauf. Frigg nodded, and then said another name. He has a son named Aaron Manningson. The protagonist's full name, Manningson, means Manning's son. Don't worry about it, we will use Aaron in the future. Although he didn't know why Frigga mentioned this name, Odin still remembered it. As for the reason, just because he is the son of a hero is enough. Frigga went on to say, Manning gave birth to a good child. Aaron's magical ability is above me! Chapter 25 Odin's Abacus, Illusion Magic Improvement. His magic ability is above yours? Hearing this, Odin became interested immediately. The only child in this generation who can make Frigga admit that she is not as good as Loki. Loki has a lot of magical ability, but his temper, Odin didn't like it very much. He didn't know why these years, he grew more and more partial to Fang Yi and ran counter to the future he imagined. Up to now, he is still often clever, forgetting that he was born to be a king. Still, Loki's magical abilities are decent. Frigg nodded heavily. There are some mistakes in my statement. It should be said that I am far inferior to him. He is the magician with the most ability and potential left and right I have ever seen. He will be a great magician of the Nine Realms. I believe that he is the future of the wizarding world. And Aaron and Thor are good friends, a good kid who works hard. Frigga was not stingy with her praise. Judging from the clues collected before, what Aaron has shown is an Eza Protoss who loves learning, works hard, and is sunny. He is very young and very energetic. Not only did he complete full warrior training, he also learned magic in pursuit of knowledge. Both an honorable warrior backup and an excellent magician apprentice. Most of all, he is the son of a hero. It is inherently easy to be recognized and favored by people. Hearing this, Odin couldn't help but look sideways. It was the first time he saw Frigg complimenting someone so much. Advertisement. He asked curiously. Aaron has such a terrifying magical ability. I can't describe it. Frigga nodded at first, but then hesitated. For a while, she didn't know how to describe Aaron's ability, and finally had to use Irene's evaluation. Irene said that he is a magical monster, and I think it is very appropriate to describe him. It only takes an hour to learn the mind barrier, and you can resist Amora's charm. In just a few hours, Irene can be ashamed of himself in terms of illusion magic. As long as any magic is taught to him once, he can learn it in a very short time and master it completely at an amazing speed. According to Loki, he also possesses such a high level of swordsmanship that even Fandral is willing to admit defeat. He is very good, both as a fighter and a magician. He has great potential. Magic monsters. I didn't expect Asgard to have such outstanding talents. Odin believed what Frigg said. Since Frigga would say that, it must have gone through many confirmations. In other words, Aaron, the son of Manning, is a genius with both magic and martial arts, even a monster. Thor has made a good friend. Odin let out the same exclamation as when Frigg heard it for the first time. That's fine. Although Thor already has the support of Sif and the three warriors of Asgard, he can basically stabilize Asgard and the peace of the Nine Realms in the future. But if there is a powerful magician assistant, his future throne will be more stable, and Asgard will be stronger. Thor is too young after all, and also relatively reckless and impulsive. His strength is good, but he doesn't specialize in magic. A qualified king, it is best not to be biased. Advertisement. Bravery, wisdom, and magic are indispensable. Even with the help of Loki, the magician's younger brother, it is still difficult to be reassuring. Loki's performance doesn't look like he can help Thor wholeheartedly. Not to mention, Loki may become the king of another country. Odin was relieved at the moment. First Thor knew the importance of training, and then he heard that Thor has a very good magician friend, and he is the son of a hero, which is the most reassuring. Manning is a very good fighter. Frigga hesitated a little at the moment, and then relayed to Odin the suggestion Irene made when she first came to report to her. You mean, you're going to teach him magic? Well, at the same time, I also need to observe the quality of the child. Frigga added, I also found that because of him, Loki has a stronger interest in magic. Just now he begged me to help him. I haven't seen Loki like this for a long time. So, for both Thor's and Loki's sake, I should take Aaron as a disciple. Frigga obviously doesn't know why Loki's sudden interest in magic has risen. What's more, Loki regards Eren as the greatest competitor of the #1 magician in the 9 realms. Odin disagreed with Frigga's idea. Loki is the blood of the Frost Titan, and the Mannings. I'll take care of their relationship, and Loki and Eren don't know about it, do they? Loki's true identity has never been made public. The only people who know his bloodline are Odin and Frigga. Even if Eren knew that his parents were killed by the Frost Titan, it is impossible for Eren to hate Loki. And she's confident that moment won't come. Advertisement. Odin didn't object anymore, and after thinking for a moment, he said, this matter after Vanaheim's rebellion is suppressed, Thor will talk about it. Frigga instantly understood that this was going to let Thor buy people's hearts. Children of Eren's age are the easiest to eat this set. However, it never occurred to them that the Eren they thought would not eat this set at all. He knew Loki's true identity a long time ago, and he also has a heart far beyond his peers. It is true that he and Thor are friends, but it is impossible to work for him because of this friendship. And after getting the gold finger, the other side, after resetting the next goal, Eren began to make preparations. Volume. Before the showdown with Amora, it is necessary to ensure that there is enough crushing strength. Last time, he didn't prepare much, but he could barely resist Amora's spiritual charm. In order to ensure the success of the plan, the mental barrier must continue to be improved to prevent rollovers. Besides, it is also necessary to prevent the possibility of Amora running away when the situation is not good. Be wary of her other powers, too. After all, Amora was a well-known witch in Asgard long before he learned magic. The power of magic cannot be underestimated. You have performed phantom magic seriously once, and you have gained a little bit. Phantom magic proficiency +4. A broken bar. A tilde. You cast an illusion spell seriously, and you got a lot. A tilde. Chapter 25. Odin's Abacus. Illusion magic improvement. His magic ability is above yours. Hearing this, Odin became interested immediately. The only child in this generation who can make Frigga admit that she is not as good as Loki. Loki has a lot of magical ability, but his temper, Odin didn't like it very much. He didn't know why these years, he grew more and more partial to Fang Yi and ran counter to the future he imagined. Up to now, he is still often clever, forgetting that he was born to be a king. Still, Loki's magical abilities are decent. Frigg nodded heavily. There are some mistakes in my statement. It should be said that I am far inferior to him. He is the magician with the most ability and potential left and right I have ever seen. He will be a great magician of the 9 realms. I believe that he is the future of the wizarding world. And Eren and Thor are good friends, a good kid who works hard. Frigga was not stingy with her praise. Judging from the clues collected before, what Eren has shown is an Protoss who loves learning, works hard, and is sunny. He is very young and very energetic. Not only did he complete full warrior training, he also learned magic in pursuit of knowledge. Both an honorable warrior backup and an excellent magician apprentice. Most of all, he is the son of a hero. It is inherently easy to be recognized and favored by people. Hearing this, Odin couldn't help but look sideways. It was the first time he saw Frigg complimenting someone so much. Advertisement. He asked curiously. Eren has such a terrifying magical ability. I can't describe it. Frigga nodded at first, but then hesitated. For a while, she didn't know how to describe Eren's ability, and finally had to use Irene's evaluation. Irene said that he is a magical monster, and I think it is very appropriate to describe him. It only takes an hour to learn the mind barrier, and you can resist Amora's charm. In just a few hours, Irene can be ashamed of himself in terms of illusion magic. As long as any magic is taught to him once, he can learn it in a very short time and master it completely at an amazing speed. According to Loki, he also possesses such a high level of swordsmanship that even Fandral is willing to admit defeat. He is very good, both as a fighter and a magician. He has great potential. Magic monsters. I didn't expect Asgard to have such outstanding talents. Odin believed what Frigg said. Since Frigga would say that, it must have gone through many confirmations. In other words, Eren, the son of Manning, is a genius with both magic and martial arts, even a monster. Thor has made a good friend. Odin let out the same exclamation as when Frigg heard it for the first time. That's fine. Although Thor already has the support of Sif and the 3 warriors of Asgard, he can basically stabilize Asgard and the peace of the 9 realms in the future. But if there is a powerful magician assistant, his future throne will be more stable, and Asgard will be stronger. Thor is too young after all, and also relatively reckless and impulsive. His strength is good, but he doesn't specialize in magic. A qualified king, it is best not to be biased. Advertisement. Bravery, wisdom, and magic are indispensable. Even with the help of Loki, the magician younger brother, it is still difficult to be reassuring. Loki's performance doesn't look like he can help Thor wholeheartedly. Not to mention, Loki may become the king of another country. Odin was relieved at the moment. First Thor knew the importance of training, and then he heard that Thor has a very good magician friend, and he is the son of a hero, which is the most reassuring. Manning is a very good fighter. Frigga hesitated a little at the moment, and then relayed to Odin the suggestion Irene made when she first came to report to her. You mean, you're going to teach him magic? Well, at the same time, I also need to observe the quality of the child. Frigga added, I also found that because of him, Loki has a stronger interest in magic. Just now he begged me to help him. I haven't seen Loki like this for a long time. So, for both Thor's and Loki's sake, I should take Aaron as a disciple. Frigga obviously doesn't know why Loki's sudden interest in magic has risen. What's more, Loki regards Aaron as the greatest competitor of the #1 magician in the 9 realms. Odin disagreed with Frigga's idea. Loki is the blood of the Frost Titan, and the Mannings. I'll take care of their relationship, and Loki and Aaron don't know about it, do they? Loki's true identity has never been made public. The only people who know his bloodline are Odin and Frigga. Even if Aaron knew that his parents were killed by the Frost Titan, it is impossible for Aaron to hate Loki. And she's confident that moment won't come. Advertisement. Odin didn't object anymore, and after thinking for a moment, he said, this matter after Vanaheim's rebellion is suppressed, Thor will talk about it. Frigga instantly understood that this was going to let Thor buy people's hearts. Children of Aaron's age are the easiest to eat this set. However, it never occurred to them that the Aaron they thought would not eat this set at all. He knew Loki's true identity a long time ago, and he also has a heart far beyond his peers. It is true that he and Thor are friends, but it is impossible to work for him because of this friendship. And after getting the gold finger, the other side. After resetting the next goal, Aaron began to make preparations. Volume. Before the showdown with Amora, it is necessary to ensure that there is enough crushing strength. Last time, he didn't prepare much, but he could barely resist Amora's spiritual charm. In order to ensure the success of the plan, the mental barrier must continue to be improved to prevent rollovers. Besides, it is also necessary to prevent the possibility of Amora running away when the situation is not good. Be wary of her other powers, too. After all, Amora was a well-known witch in Asgard long before he learned magic. The power of magic cannot be underestimated. You have performed phantom magic seriously once, and you have gained a little bit. Phantom magic proficiency +4. A broken bar. A tilde. You cast an illusion spell seriously, and you got a lot. A tilde.